what you're gonna do the next if you take it live.
You got me singing in my head. Yeah. Hi, guys. Welcome. I thought that would be a fun little intro. Me stuck at my TV, not knowing what to do. Okay. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Lara FM SBTV TV. This is episode 27, and we are talking, as you can see, it says in quotes, children are adults in small bodies. And who better to talk about that than ex-Sea Org members that were in the Sea Org that were raised as either children or raised under this belief in the Sea Org that no matter what you are, you're a child in a small body, which what we're going to talk about and talk about this whole subject of how destructive this is for the future for our lives as children and people who were born and raised into Scientology. Just what this did individually for all of us, but who better to bring than ex-Sea Org members that were involved in all of this. So please welcome Mr. Jackson Moorhead. Hi, gang.
Peace.
Peace. He's like, I'm
Hello,
out.
everybody.
There's Liz. Hi, Liz Ferris and her sweet little iguana lizard baby.
That looks like a hornet toad.
I don't think it's an iguana or a lizard.
No, it's not. It's a bearded dragon.
Yeah, bearded dragon.
I'm on.
Okay.
Say hi, penguin. Say
Hi, penguin. Oh my God. Can you put him closer to the thing?
Blah.
I wonder if it'll focus. Okay, cute. Wow, that's so cool. Okay, please keep him in the SB. Oh, there it did. It did focus. Okay, and then we have our one and only Louis Repetto. Hi, Louis.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Great to be here.
Hey, and the one and only Dylan Gill. Hi, Dylan. Yay.
Hello.
I feel like we have a full, complete SPTV community here. Just kidding. From all the branches of love and life.
One thing I got to inject here quickly because I love this work. Got a little friend here, but John Stradowski. What's his name? How do you pronounce his name?
Shastowski.
Anyways, just want to throw a little love out there. I love the guy's work, his passion on setting us all up with these little gajibbies. It's pretty cool. Never goes unnoticed, Mr. John. There's
Me
Mr.
too.
Bill.
I said Shazowski, but
Yeah. Well, I scrolled back. John Shastowski. He's done us the solid by hyphenating his last name. So hopefully I'm doing him a solid. There's Mr. Bill.
Yeah.
So for you,
Bill
wait,
was
Liz,
destroyed.
do you have Mr. Bill? No, it was destroyed by a doggy.
Yeah.
I've been keeping this way.
That's a classic end to life for Mr. Bill.
That's the classic Mr. Bill automatic move for any animal dog.
Like-
I
that's for
literally
sure.
couldn't find it. I was like, one day it was in my office.
I heard-
And then the next day it was.
Well, did you find any
I
bits of
heard
it out in
this.
the lawn?
I heard this, and I was like, Foxy, and I was like, oh no.
See, Laura,
Yeah,
you don't know about do you know about the true history of Mr. Bill?
A little bit. I researched because remember I was a total idiot on the one. I was like, I don't know what that
Well,
means.
yeah,
And you're
it
like,
was just an
remember
old-
that show?
Truly old school Saturday Night Live skit. Claymation. But
Yeah.
It was always, you always look forward to Mr. Bill on Saturday nights. I
did watch it later, but I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't quite, I still, like a lot of
Yeah.
things because
No,
we
I-
didn't have this as kids and stuff. I still have difficult times understanding a lot of
you know
common
what
things.
Fire
Like
Marshal Bill is.
Pokemon, Liz. Like Liz is
It's
constantly,
amazing.
yeah.
You know Fire
see?
Marshal Bill, right? From In Living Color?
Kind of,
From
yeah.
Jim Carrey. That was his original launch pad in which he became known as a great comic. But the Fire Marshal Bill, hi, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Fired up, Jackson. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Well, my fire background, it was always awesome. This crazy pyro guy. Anyways,
Right. No, absolutely.
I love you say pyro guy.
well, that's what an average firefighter is. He's a professional.
Did you know Mr. Gould from Pack Base? He was in the Sea Org
the
for
redheaded
many,
guy?
many years, and he was very tall, and he had white hair, and he used to. He's been in the Sea Org for like.
Oh no, that's
Mr.
Hank Gould.
Hank Gould. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I knew Hank really well. I knew Hank very, very well. He was a very eccentric, quiet, but you never knew what was gonna, because he's a Vietnam vet.
Yeah.
He was deep
was
involved in church
OT5.
secrets. Church secrets. That guy.
Yeah, he was OT5, and he was he was actually sent to Flag to be a class 9 at one point. Then he came back, and he was kind of like stuck on pro metering, which I helped him on, I think. And then I think he went back to Flag and finished that, but then he had to come back. But then he was like the fire marshal. Does anyone else remember him?
What year?
This was in the 2000s, from
Oh,
year
yeah, no,
2000 to 2013.
I last saw him in the incom mission when I was ruining his and other souls.
So we're all from different years. That's so cool.
Well,
Yep.
yeah.
But do you see, wait, guys, do you see how Jackson just said that while I was ruining souls? Like he's talking about it. He's there. He's bringing up things. He's slightly joking, but he's also being like, yeah, we were,
That was the reality.
this was the reality. This was the job. And again, whether you were a child or an adult or in a small body or not, it didn't matter. You had a position and you had to do it. If you didn't know how to drive a tractor, you would have to, if your job is the tractor IC or the, digging trench, whatever it is, you would then have to figure out how you would do the hatting to figure out. I say figure it out. No, it's just like
Read
you're
the
this.
manual.
And it's just, remember, conditions or post positions or treason, hats not wearing. It's always just, this is your job, wear the hat. There's no other questions like, oh, I don't know how to do this. Oh my God, I've never driven a tractor. I don't even know what a fucking wheel is. Like nothing. It's just, here's your hat, do it. And it does not matter if you were a small child, if you were an adult. It was just, your next position is this, and your position in the Sea Org or your post is this, and this is going to help clear the whole planet. So it didn't matter.
That's right.
So I appreciate that, Jackson. Even
Well, thank
you
you.
just saying little things like that, it helps other people to kind of be more aware of what they were doing that was fucked up that they're not talking about.
Well,
That
that's-
will help other people. It helps everybody. It even helps me. You think I'm fucking healed? There's no way I'm healed. I'll probably never be fully healed this lifetime. So
Probably.
Did you hear Natalie Webster's
yes,
with
yes,
um
with AA Ron, yes,
Yeah,
Natalie
yeah.
Webster, yes.
it just that's just another clear-cut current example of how long it takes every individual to do their thing. But I've known her for, God, I remember seeing her at our first indie party out in Texas at Shannon's house, and that's where Marty and Mike and everybody was out there. But I never, and also Natalie's mom, which you probably heard her speak of. But did you guys know that Natalie's mom made her way into the Guinness Book of World Records by having a very dynamic eyeglasses? She had like she held the world's largest collection of funny sunglasses. Anyways,
That's very weird, and I don't remember hearing that, but probably because I was so focused.
well, only just because
that's just something you know.
I just know of her, but
Oh.
yeah.
That's
But
very cute, though. In a cute way, she had it,
Yeah.
or did she have them in like?
she always
didn't have...
that was the thing when they'd go through their family get-togethers in Hawaii.
Oh my
they
God,
would,
was the
they
god?
would
That's
all
really
wear
cute.
a pair of mama's glasses, and then when she
And
passed on.
when you're saying their family, are you talking about Ramina's family and stuff? Ramina.
No, not Ramina.
Ramina.
This is Natalie
Oh, okay.
Webster.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
Natalie's
no.
family.
Yeah,
I was just
Natalie.
she mentioned what's her name? Dawson. Oh my God, I love her. What's her name? Her daughter. It's
the two girls that she has. I think one is Keely or Key.
I don't
starts
know.
with a K.
Anyways, whatever. I was
Yeah.
just saying no. I was saying Ramina's daughter and Natalie Webster are really Chantel are good friends or were good friends or they knew each other. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, like Ramina and Ramina's family took me in at a little bit and I was helping them sell pearls and their jewelry and stuff. So I
Right.
just got to know
Wow.
the whole family
Oh, okay.
when I was years ago. But
Yeah.
anyways,
Well,
yes, I did hear
just like
that
Mr.
Natalie.
Repetto knew of Hank Gould, and Repetto and I have never met. I'm not even sure of your background, but somebody's got a mislabeled clay demo in the background there.
Yeah.
So Louis,
Yeah.
for all y'all
Hey,
who
but
are
my
in the chat,
personal background. And you're talking about my literal background.
No, well,
No.
no.
I
I
thought
don't
you
know.
meant you were talking about Sea Org background.
Yeah, I don't know your literal background,
Both,
but it
I
just
guess,
shows
yeah.
the whole small world. I
Okay,
knew,
wait. So
knew Hank.
Louis put up, sorry, not to interrupt you, Gary, but Louis, actually, I always interrupt apparently, and I don't give a fuck. That's what I do, and I love everybody. Thank you. Get over it, guys. Get off my channel if you have an issue with it, because it's gonna happen. You can interrupt me anytime, by the way, all y'all on this chat or anytime.
Okay, then I'm gonna interrupt.
Okay, great, thank you. And
Hey,
I'm gonna interrupt you.
One, don't come after her for that. If I have a problem or if I want to talk, please know I would say something. But you know what? When she gets on her emotional spew and
Somebody
things are
said
moving,
it earlier.
I'm
Really well.
not going to say a bloody thing when most of us were stifled our whole lives.
This is
Rachel said it
Laura's-
really well. You are the cutest little ADH bunny, Lara. When you are happy, and I adore it for you. Thank you. Get it. Just love me, okay, guys?
This is Laura's
Stop.
party. We were invited to it. If you brought better hors d'oeuvres and gifts, then you have a bigger voice. But this is still Laura's party.
Thank you. And I
Absolutely.
also do feel like, Liz, once it's your channel, like I did book this on my channel. I love all you and I want it all to be on your channel. But once it's on my channel, I do feel kind of like the host or the interviewer. So I do feel like it's okay for me to interrupt a little. Sorry
fuck
for all
yeah.
y'all that are used to being on Janice's channel or Mike Brown's or whoever's and thinking I'm cutting. No, like this is me being excited to get answers and shit like that. So. And
Anyways.
it's also hard to see. Sorry, I also was going to say it's hard to hear sometimes people that I've never spoken to or have never healed from that used to be my senior or used to abuse me or used to be in charge of making sure I was abused. So it's not like I'm not going to feel entitled now to cut them off every once in a while. So not that I mean to, it's just literally PTSD. It's a reaction of like healing or talking about whatever we're talking about. But anyways, all I was going to say is that when Louis Repetto first jumped in, his background, not his actual life background, but his actual background in the thing was L. Ron Hubbard Way, which we were joking about. Gary was saying, can you put that on really quick, Louis? So I don't feel like an idiot.
It
Look
just
at his
is a-
background. It's literally L. Ron Hubbard Way. And I was like, why does Louis have such a shitty background or such a plain
I was
background?
looking at it and I saw the bricks and I'm all,
Until
oh, that's a butt clench.
yeah. And then Liz was like, oh my God. And then Gary was like, oh, there have been many tears in each one of those bricks or something. He said that. And then I was like, oh, it's L. Ron Hubbard Way. Ugh. Very good, Louis. You are, again, you are an artist. Okay, that's all.
And funny thing is, you know, we get caught up in the, what do they call that, double entendre. You know, Louis' background for his YouTube channel there is also a representation of his actual background.
Oh, I didn't get that either. So is that Louis doing a clay demo in the back of Louis Repetto's screen?
Well, whether it is or not, I couldn't tell
Louis,
you.
is that you? It looks kind of like you.
No, that's actually
He had short hair back then.
someone who.
Oh yeah,
that one on the one on the left. If you're looking at the screen, the light blue. Now she was in the Sea Org since she was 14. I'm not going to say how old she is in that picture, but because I'm not sure exactly. But she's doing a clay demonstration as part of a compliance report with another Sea Org member who I knew who had a forced abortion that I was a witness to.
So you really do know what's happening in the background of this. That's so crazy.
Yeah,
so you must have gotten this from somebody or your own, like, or a magazine where you're like, oh, I know these people.
I took the picture for a compliance report. I did it.
Wow.
I took that picture there.
Just to make a
With
comment
my
to keep
phone.
this, keep the topic light was I see that clay demo's pretty much a candidate for a pink sheet too, because a couple of things are not labeled. I'm just joking though.
I was like, Gary, you're really getting
The thing
really
is
Well,
that
I mean,
you're
you see how it just made you all
but they
laugh?
wouldn't
We're all-
get a pink
It's
sheet.
true,
Yeah,
which I
well,
love.
That's just the way it was.
Louis
They're not
still
in a
trying to
course room.
continue the joke. What about the pink sheet?
Yeah.
Well, they're not in a course room, which is even
Oh.
more non-standard about this picture.
Yeah.
Because they're doing like this weird program that the COB was chairman of the board was having us do at the time, called these reading things in the chronological sequence and then doing all this special hatting. That's what this right here is. And I was the staff section officer. CMO was running this on us. This whole like evolution in the mind.
I was going to say, was it a
CMO?
CMO? I was going to say, was it a CMO program? Because that literally
Yes, it
looked
was,
like
but it was
something
written
I would
by.
write.
RTC locally.
Right. So
Well,
it was
that-
probably a program that was like top needs to get done. This program
Yes.
was RTC program. It wasn't a CMO program. It was written by
Or an
RTC
Elbridge Com.
for
Yeah.
CMO to get approved. I mean,
I
for
accidentally ended up
CMO.
with this photo. I accidentally ended. When I left the Sea Org, they went and deleted everything that I ever had, and you know, took all of my stuff, all my pictures, all my certs, all my everything, and left me. And this photo and a few others happened to be in the trash of one of my accounts, and I found it there, and I was like, "Holy shit!" You know, some of it.
I'm like, how did some of you get it? Okay, here's my question.
Wait,
before
were
we
you
get
going to
into a
ask him?
serious
Were you going to
topic.
ask him how did you get the photos back and shit?
Yes.
Because this is what pisses me
Every
off so
picture
much.
of me with celebrities,
I barely
gone.
like. I want to go back
Right.
It
over
was
the
in the
photos
trash.
on my earlier.
They didn't delete the
episodes.
trash.
On my earlier episodes, all those photos are literally my only photos. So when you pull up a Clay demo photo like this, I'm like, how the fuck was he able to keep a Clay demo? Like, maybe it was the different standards. Please tell me. But like, the Int Ranch cadets were forbidden for moving or taking any knowledge or anything from the Int Ranch base. It didn't even matter if our brother or family or sister were in it. If the RPF base was in the background, or if there's a mountain where you could see exactly, like, we weren't allowed to have any of these. So yeah, I'm with
Yeah.
Liz right there. Like, how did you even get this? And we're talking about children. We're talking about, yeah.
There's so much.
Yeah, because like literally every, 4
Did they
years of
not inspect?
pictures.
Did they not inspect your shit, Leo? Like, Louis, what happened?
They deleted everything. They went and they with me. Odo did. He went with me, and we opened the computers. We deleted everything. I didn't know I was born in a cult. I didn't know about trash, how it gets put in the trash, and he didn't either, I guess. And so
Right.
we went, and later on I figured out about this trash can that everything is going to.
You're talking about the virtual trash.
Yeah, the virtual
Okay.
trash can.
Here's the
And
funny
I
thing,
went
I
to
bet
it,
you.
and I found these photos in the Amazon virtual trash can.
Unbelievable.
The
Wow.
the latest oversight the church has no control over is the cloud. So you can go take pictures, and now it goes to the cloud, and the church doesn't
Yeah.
even know how to navigate
It's
that shit.
instant.
So
I heard they're not allowed literally when you go to
Well, of
session, or
course.
when you're not allowed your Apple Watches in the
no,
course.
nothing. You can't. I'm
Nothing. I don't
guarantee
even
they're.
think you can bring them in the org. I think they have you leave them in the car when you come up. or
Yeah,
whatever.
as much as there is a noose around the idea of building a family, there's a noose around the idea of freedom of your own information act. Seriously, it's all controlled. You walk in the door of Church Scientology, aside from saying hello, the next sentence is, "Please hand us your phone." The control factor. The events.
It's not only that. It's
Yeah.
I mean, this is if you're signed in and you're already registered. They already know all your information, and they're
Yeah.
still watching you. They're
Oh, yeah.
watching you when you walk in the door. They're making sure you're just naturally brainwashed and doing your course and learn,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
being
they still have to
groomed.
do compliance reports like the Sea Org members do.
No,
When
it's
I
true.
first got in there in the year 2002, I was so disgusted by our birthing that I went and bought a Kodak picture camera, the one you throw away.
Yeah,
And I took
a
pictures of
disposable.
the carpet, of the inside, of everything. And I was going to send it to RTC internally, thinking they were going to do something about it, but nothing ever did. And our birthing got turned into pig's birthing.
Yeah.
And they ripped our door off, and they put a curtain on there, and they put meat inside our room, and they hid it. And it smelled so awful. We had to dekludge and clean for like weeks, months without pay.
Dekludge is not a word. And trust me, I use that word all the time. And so I'm not even making fun of you, and I'm not even making you change it. I'm just saying I actually was gonna say they put like rotten eggs in our dorm until you said dekludge. I was like, dekludge is not a word. But I still say it. I'm like, I'll text people the full word. I still need to dekludge my room, run some errands, and do some laundry. And they're like, dekludge?
feels right.
Does that mean declutter the kludge? I was like,
feels
yeah,
right.
exactly. Anyways, wow, dekludge. Okay,
Mhm.
so but yeah,
I just
same thing.
googled dekludge, by the way.
What does it
Google
say?
comes back and says, "Did you mean kludge?"
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
there's a blogger in 2008 says
Same with de-weed.
dekludge. I haven't been able to find this word in the dictionary, but among my contemporaries, it means to throw out unwanted stuff.
Yep.
Wow, it's like Scientology putting Scientology into the English language as if it is really there, existed, but it doesn't.
As
That's
they
what's-
always did,
Right.
including the infinity symbol,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
the ARC triangle. Everything
How
was
many of us
Hell,
stolen.
I-
Here's
all
someone
that-
else who says it's decluttering as a healing
What's that,
journey.
tattoo?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the infinity square as well, done with 2 baseball bats and baseballs.
Yeah.
Jackson's
Wait, is
about
that
to
because
pull
you
out his-
infinite? What's
Huh?
the wait?
I got an infinity tattoo as well.
But what does the baseball bats have to do with that?
Okay. Okay, so
Gary,
infinity
you're
logo,
next. So you better pull up
and
this.
then I use the baseball because that's my thing to make the infinity signal.
Oh, I get it.
Okay.
Okay.
I
I was
don't
like,
have-
what's the baseball? What?
I don't have tattoos, but I got tattoo joke, but I don't have tattoos.
That's really cute, Gary. That means you're actually the person genuinely that you are.
Oh. Well, I
I
mean,
just feel like if you haven't even gone that path, you're just doing your path, and you're like, you're like, that's not my thing. I mean, you're not trying to be
No,
like
it's
me.
not
You're
like
not a
it's not
rock
my
star.
thing.
You're not.
Believe
No,
me.
but I'm just saying you're you. You can
Yeah.
enjoy watching me. You can enjoy
Yeah.
other people's tattoos.
yeah.
But
yeah.
you're just you, which
I
I,
haven't
love.
found
So much.
them,
And this
you know.
is my only tattoo. Just so you know,
Yeah,
like
I'm
I'm not a big pat. Everybody thinks I'm covered in tattoos. I'm like, nope. I'm a pale
Nope,
white
that's me.
lady.
Yeah, I mean, there was an old joke of
Oh,
two guys standing in a urinal, one guy looking over the other and goes, What are those 2 letters on your dingy dong mean?" And it's like A and G. It's like, or A and Y, or H and Y. It's like, what does H and Y mean? Why'd you do that? Anyways, the guy said, so when the wind blows and he gets a hooty woody, it reads have a happy day. Did you get the joke?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Right over Sarcasm Hill.
I
So if
did, right over
You see
Sarcasm
2
Hill.
letters, H and Y, on the guy's pee-pee. So when the wind
get
blows
it.
and he gets a woody, it reads have a happy day.
But it doesn't only need the wind to blow.
When he's in the pool and there's shrinkage involved, all you see is the H and Y. When he sees
I could be the wind in the blow.
yeah, and then when he sees a good-looking person and he goes woody woody, it stretches out, and then you can see what it says. It says have a happy day. Does that make sense, Liz? Anyways,
I
Yeah.
got it that time. I promise.
maybe not
Can
your
we-
cup of tea.
Not wieners. No.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm
Hey, Dylan.
not.
I was
not that
literally
tall.
gonna say, yeah, Gary. Not
I
a
know.
cup of tea at
When you
all.
have to explain a joke too much, you didn't deliver it. It was the delivery is fucked up. So.
Dylan
No,
Dylan
I
had a
just kept
little
hearing
internet
ears stuck
problem.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm in the middle
okay,
of
that's
a
enough.
little Winter wonderland happening.
You're really quiet there, Mr. Dill.
Oh,
Yeah, turn up
How's
your
that?
mic,
Is that
Dylan.
better?
You need to not be
Much
shy.
even more.
how
Yes,
about
there
that?
you- No, that yes.
There we go.
Yes.
That is
Okay,
sexy,
all
hot
right, I will do that.
Dylan
I was
dad voice.
Yeah, a
could
little
totally be a
winter
sex
wonderland
operator.
outside. It might be intermittent, but I'm giving it a second try.
Oh,
Yeah,
how
yeah, his
How many inches
Dylan-
are on the ground?
No, we
Dylan-
weren't. We've been getting mist all day.
Oh.
I'm backed up to the San Juans in Colorado, and so we just got a direct. It's weird how the storms move here. They hit you, and it just kind of dumps. So
Oh,
we'll see what happens.
all right, fun.
So,
I
but
love
he's
winter
I'm
saying
ready
that
for it.
because the internet was cutting out, and that's why y'all.
Yeah.
There was somebody like, "Hey, where did blow drill go?" I was like,
I had to
"Give
blow.
me back."
Jackson,
He had
I
to
saw Jackson. I
blow.
was like, "Run!"
Yeah, blow drill now.
Oh my god.
He's already ready beforehand, before security has called the drill.
Yeah.
All right, so guys,
gosh.
I just
Exactly.
quickly want to say thank you to Super Pup, who's constantly here for all of us and always being so freaking supportive. And also, I just also want to say to Super Pup, you're amazing because I got your package today for my kitties, and it's full of a freaking cactus scratching thing, kitty toys, foxy dog chewy toys.
Wow.
And it's a cactus scratching post, which everything I loved. It was like, even for the kitties, it was a sushi roll that has catnip and they were playing around
Oh,
with it. And I
wow.
was like, this is so cute. And I love sushi and I love the desert. And I love that you got me a cactus scratching pole for my kitties. Anyways, I love it all. I fucking really love it. It felt so cute. Honestly, again, we're talking about children and this behavior of not being allowed to be a child when you were a child. And It
that what
felt
kids
like
now?
I genuinely got presents. It felt like I received something that I wasn't allowed to be like, oh, this isn't for me. It was definitely for me. It was very on purpose, and it was exact. Anyways, I felt so loved when I got that. That was a feeling I've missed in a while. Like, and same with Sandy Powers making the outfits. I just want to say that, like, we forget about these moments because we didn't have much of them. And so when we receive this, I know, Liz, you feel this. When you receive something, you're like, this is ridiculous. How do I even acknowledge the person who sent it to me? Because they don't know how I feel inside. I can't show them how I feel inside.
Yeah.
And I hate love bombing, and I hate people love bombing me. So it's like, anyways, I struggle with it. And right now I'm just saying it, Super Pup.
It's like I
We
say I hate
absolutely
it.
love you.
Absolutely. It's like I say I hate it, but it's like I hated it as a kid. I didn't hate it as a kid. Let's be realistic. I hated watching other people get stuff. And then when it came my birthday, it was just, oh, I'm really busy in income. I'm a really busy LRH com. Come have a slice of birthday cake in my office.
Right.
But all the other kids do all that other stuff.
Yep.
And not
I wanna
only
do that stuff.
I shared a picture of how the kids at the Ant Ranch. I probably have it up somewhere, but maybe I'll pop it up. But
Put it on your
how that, like,
background.
even when I well, my background's being occupied.
I know,
by me.
it's beautiful.
My kitties were just there, and Foxy's right
beautiful
next to
there.
me, so I literally
What is
can't move.
that
They're all
Don't change it.
Lou?
Oh, we just talked about this, Dylan. You missed it. Okay, wait.
saw
So what I
L.
was
Ron
gonna
Hubbard way earlier.
Yeah, we talked about, you guessed
I
it.
was
You
like,
guessed
wait a
it, Dylan.
second.
Look what is, and we talked about it further because Liz and I were both like,
Did you put bricks on that road?
no. This clay demo
okay.
behind Louis, he actually
Oh,
took
yeah.
this picture, and then he was just
wow.
telling us how Odo made him delete it on everything when he was leaving, and he didn't realize. Well, now he knows that when you delete something virtually, you can get it back. And because me and Liz were like, how did you get these pictures? And also, this
It's
is
on the
interesting.
cloud.
Again, it's on the cloud or whatever. But also, this is interesting because it makes sense to times of how old we were and what years we were in the Sea Org or as children, right? Because Liz, I only had like actual Polaroids. The old cameras. That's the only photos I had, and I was trying to hold
Like
on
the
to the physical
Instamatics that you had
photos.
to go get developed.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, well,
the
Yeah,
ones
like
you didn't
I'd
have
take
a
a picture
memory.
and I'd be like, I don't know how it looks. You gotta go. I
Right.
gotta go get it developed to see.
Yeah, because like
so-
pictures when I was a kid at Pac Base, like there's like 3 pictures of me and they're all the exact same day posing outside AOLA on the bench. But other than that, I remember my mom taking pictures of me and the other kids, like Sasha and Serge. We didn't get any of that. And then when I joined the Sea Org, I got nothing. I got to fight for my passport, and then I didn't even get that. I had to get a new one.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're recording
It's
every
insane.
single video in there, all the cameras.
Yeah, that was gonna say that, and I'm also
every hallway.
I was also thinking, Liz, like passport. I didn't even fucking know what a passport was,
I was gonna
literally,
say,
Right.
until I left the Sea
I
Org.
didn't even have a
I
driver's
think I
license.
Yeah, I think I was afraid to hold a passport. Like, I shouldn't be holding that. That's like government. That's
No,
all I
was-
really knew about
yeah,
it.
I got my
That's
passport
the
when I was
outside officials.
15.
Oh, cool.
You got your passport when you were 15?
Yeah, you have to like go and it's a whole process.
Yeah.
You gotta
You
get
have to
your
fill
picture
out an
taken. You
application,
gotta
get little
sit there and be like,
pictures and all this stuff.
So where were you originally born?
as
Liz?
far as I can tell, San Francisco, because I've been told so many lies this
Wow.
lifetime.
Okay.
Did you
that's
travel
uh,
somewhere like
Mhm.
Europe or somewhere?
Yeah, I've been to Europe hundreds
Oh,
of times.
that's why you got your passport. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was
Mystery
gonna.
solved.
There you
Yeah,
go.
my godmom is
Dylan.
in Europe.
You know, speaking of legal documents,
Not just a dad, he's also a
Legal documents.
investigator.
1979,
Uh-oh.
I had to go down to
Uh-oh.
Los Angeles And this is my social security. That's my signature
You
from
still
when I
have
was
your original.
12
Wait,
years
hold
old.
it. Keep holding it still because it'll focus. Pull back a
trying.
little bit.
Oh,
there you go. Right there.
That's my
Whoa.
signature when I was 12 years old at a downtown
That's
LA
so
building.
neat. Do you still have good handwriting, or did you just try really hard to do that?
No, it was just my signature when I was 12 years old. But
That's
this
so
is my
cool.
actual social security card that I found myself having to get obtained because of the legal requirements for kids. When I was a cadet, we had to have work. What do you call it? Work. You had to
Work
get
permits?
okay. You basically, there was some sort of work authorization or something, but we had to legally be able to work. So part of that is we had to get registered in the system. I got a draft
you have to
number.
go-
I got my social security number, but I had hit that age and I couldn't go do cadet projects because I didn't have my work authorization, I guess, recognized by the state. So it was just part of the legal rudiments that the organization was getting into play. And I just remember going down there, the old school fluorescent lights, everything's marble. It was all kind of very your classic administrative city government facility, and filling this out. And I remember signing that. I wish I hadn't signed it in red, but
The
it's just
signature
fascinates
that
me.
you just showed us.
Huh?
Is that what you were going to sign? That thing you just
Yeah,
showed
that
us?
is literally the signature that I signed. And I you're not supposed to what do you call that? Laminate your social security card, but I did previously to knowing that.
What?
But yeah, you're not supposed to laminate your card.
Dylan,
'cause-
did you laminate your social
It
security?
says that on the card.
No.
well,
Oh,
didn't-
okay.
I
You were
signed
like,
this-
what? I thought you
But
meant
anyways,
like, uh-oh.
this is from literally when my
They must have
1979.
put that on later.
That's crazy that you
1979
still
when I
have that.
arrived to LA.
Wow.
So
Where was that? Did you have that on your person? When
I
you
had,
were-
how I managed to keep it through anything and everything, the thick and thin.
This is what I mean. Like,
Crazy.
it's so crazy to even like, I have tried to think like, how have I held on to my own passport? Like how I've like, I know this sounds probably like, what do you mean? What's so hard about it? Like, we all know, like, we didn't even understand the way that life outside in this world was functioning, let alone holding on to our own bags and our own clothes. Like, I can't help but talk and say it's similar to somebody who is schizophrenic or on some addiction, but slowly getting through life. But, like, oh, I got to get back to, but being on just life, like just being outside and having no boundaries as children from your parents that have taught you over days and days. And no, like, we didn't have that. The parents were only there for 2 hours or maybe a Saturday morning, or maybe you got a day off once a year or twice a year with your parents. There's not every day. There's no time to even argue with your parents or to get into any disagreement. It's just the way it is. And goodbye, 2 hours. Oh, I love you. And so to even like have a difficult time of like me, the whole spanking thing, and then having to explain that to my parents when they got off the bus and stuff, and me feeling like shit, like, that's during this only 2 hour period. So I'm like, oh my God, I've ruined everything for like a month now. They're never going to be okay with like, anyway, so sorry. Wow.
I just quickly wanted to, because people were making comments about, there's this gal, Bridget, she had hers laminated
Bridget
too.
Harrison. Wait,
Yeah.
but also Bridget Harrison
Your
asked, oh, you're talking about
Yeah,
the
co-conspirators, I
laminating.
love it. Yeah.
You're like,
and
we need to bring this up. I thought you were bringing the question up on the
no,
screen.
well, I guess I don't know if I can. But,
It's right here. No, I'm saying
No,
the
we
one
can't
that's
click on
on
it.
the screen.
Oh,
Bridget
yeah.
Harrison says, question, did you guys have to cook as kids? Who wants to start? Because we all have
Here, I'll
different.
start real quick because I
Liz,
got to take my bearded to
Okay, hurry.
back in a second. Basically, when I was in Florida, yes, at the Cadet Academy in Florida, we cooked for the crew. Like, we were in there. If bread needed to be sliced, we were slicing it. If we had to peel potatoes, we were peeling potatoes. Now cooking, it was the only time that I remember us actually cooking was on the weekends. We had to cook for our parents. But other than that, at Pack Base, we didn't.
Yeah, no, there was always the cooks down in the galley. I mean, we even have little toasters in our berthing. We couldn't have any of that stuff. I mean, at least during my times.
When
Like,
did
we
you
weren't
start in
allowed-
the Sea Org
So-
there?
Huh?
Wait,
When did you start
Dylan.
in the Sea Org? Oh, sorry.
in
We're
LA.
not done. Wait, no, we're gonna get distracted otherwise. Answer the
Okay.
question, Dylan. Did you cook in the Sea Org or as kids?
As a kid, yes. In the Sea Org, negative.
And Louis?
In the Sea Org, yes, when I worked on the States Project Force in the beginning, I had to cook for the crew.
I think her question is, did you guys cook as kids? Like, were you in the kitchen or some sort of kitchen? Like, hey, part of your job is to cook.
Yeah,
And
well,
and the answer is no. Like when we're
No.
cooking, it was for the crew or a job. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, hey, take whatever ingredients you want and go inside and cut up your mushrooms and bell peppers and onion.
Yeah.
No, like there's nothing. There's no way that was. There's a whole crew in the Sea Org that is called the galley crew or the chef crew or whatever, and they make all the food. So yes, there were certain Sea Org members that cooked for everybody, but as an enjoyable thing and as a normal life of a question like, did we even have time to cook? No.
No.
Did we cook? No. I never made eggs or bacon in the Sea Org ever. No, unless it
Really?
was
Yeah.
like
I
I'm an
didn't
EPF for cracking 5,000 eggs into a bucket.
we had no
And
way
Laura-
of
Exactly.
No,
of
in
keeping it
Florida they
temperature.
did. In Florida they did because so Fort Harrison was separate. They had all of their stuff, but when it came to dinner, you ate at the cheapy the hotel, whatever looking thing that was changed into berthing. They had a galley that we had set up, and yeah, if you were part of the cadet school, like
But see,
that's how I learned how to make eggs.
Yeah, we
I'm
had no way of
phenomenal at making eggs.
Okay.
we had no way of
So
keeping
that was-
food in the places we lived, so
I guess there's a thing because I mean, for kids like Liz, not kids, you being even as you guys had this opportunity only because it was like, okay, it was the same structure of like, they'll bring in from the org base, the closest org base, a flat of eggs. Or however, whatever the disbursement is, but it's like an egg per kid or 2 eggs. It's like, and then you cook it if you're hungry. It might be no. Int Ranch was this is the meal time. Here's the flat that it. We talked about this, Gary. Load the pans up, the silver pans from Gold
the
Base.
hotel pans.
Send them hotel pans. Send them to the Int Ranch.
Go ahead,
Cadet.
Liz.
Yeah. And so every story is different. Like Dylan had a different experience. Louis had a different experience. Jackson, the Gold Base was different experience.
Yeah.
You ate food in the freaking security booth. So I
Yeah.
remember seeing the security chief
Yeah, 'cause
people eating in the booth because they
we-
couldn't leave the booth.
We made up the meals and hauled them out to the guards in their various spots during our watches.
Yeah. I think Bridget, you're amazing and all your questions and your chats are so awesome and great. I just want to say, like, the idea of thinking cook, your question is, did you guys have to cook as kids? Have to. Yes, we did. And cook for ourselves in a joyful way? No.
No.
For
No.
other people, was it one of the fun jobs? Yes. Out of all the horrible jobs, it was fun as kids to ship us on a van run to the Gold Base from the Int Ranch and crack 5,000 eggs and sneak some chocolate chip cookie dough and
Yeah.
like whatever, like that sadly was fun. But yes, those 2 hours or the half that day was fully controlled 100% by adults, and we were not allowed to go anywhere else on the base. It was completely off limits. Like it was anyway. So cooking for me in the Sea Org or even and like it was a privilege. It was like a fun thing to be able to do. If you were a Sea Org member, you might have a little cute hot plate quickly that you might make something or whatever. But it wasn't supposed to be. It was just like eat your meals with the. What'd you say, Dylan?
Sorry, my Saint Bernard got up. It felt like it was an earthquake. I was like,
Oh. No,
But I mean, here's a missed
Dylan always feels like
previous
he's
last
on
experience.
major
Probably more supporting Bridget's question. Also, is that I had a little bit of a childhood, not in the Sea Org, and when they cook in the galley during the holidays, I would love the smell of pumpkin pies being cooked or cookies. But I mean, Laura, I'm sure you probably did not have that memorable, warm, cuddly, fuzzy smell feeling of smelling cookies being baked, going, oh man, do I miss that? It just takes you back to that moment. And, but every time I smelt it, it was always reminded me back when I was a little kid, my grandma or mom would make that stuff for the holidays. But I'm curious, did that moment, I'm going to beg to differ that it did not happen for the kids out at the ranch. They're literally born
No,
into the
it
Sea
was
Org.
one of our joyful things. Like Saturday night cookies was one of the most amazing times.
So
and
they did
would
create
they
those
would-
kind of memories.
Oh, 100%. And
Oh,
they
okay.
would also use them against us. Like, oh,
Yeah.
you're not getting no cookies, no,
Yeah. Well, see,
you're
we didn't
getting
have
no
that growing
dessert.
up.
They would say no dessert for
Yeah.
you. And dessert just meant Saturday night. We never got dessert any other night. And that meant 2 cookies or something, you know,
Yeah,
like,
see, so that's
so they
that's
would
what I was
control that.
curious of. Is that actually did that happen for the kids out there?
yeah, no, we loved
that-
it. Oh my God.
yeah.
I loved those chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh my gosh. I mean, they were amazing, fresh baked, really well-made cookies from
Yeah.
like a full-on galley facility. Like, so yeah.
Like, when did you capture smells of an actual barbecue cooking up some hamburgers or steaks?
Wow, right when you said that, you know what I thought of? The Indians, when the Indians would
Yeah.
come over as a PR party
Right,
from
okay.
Scientology. And I remember like, wow.
Yeah.
I just remember like, wow, yeah, that I do remember.
Hmm.
Like the
Anyway.
smells of all the food and the meats and yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So what topic do we want to jump on here to make this whole thing
This
productive? and
child thing.
interesting?
So what? Well, we already are on it. These are literally all the things talking about. Okay, so if we're just adults in small bodies, right? How does this now affect us in the future?
Well,
There's many things. I mean, it took.
so
Yeah, go
I'll-
ahead.
Go.
I'm phenomenal.
I mean,
at
I'm now a
talking.
child in an adult body. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I am now a child in an adult body.
Yeah.
I play with Pokemon. My kids and I have a great time with it. We play video games. I will rock out playing my PS5 for hours. And to be completely honest, yeah, when I get a package from where Amazon or anything else, I literally sit down like a kid and open it like it's Christmas Day. You know, as long as I'm by myself, I'm sitting there opening it like it's Christmas Day. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you know, I
Quickly,
am definitely.
Yeah. Gifts getting was always a special moment. You know, I remember when I was checking mail and the holidays would come around, that was kind of a sweet little treat to be able to open everybody's gifts and see what was inside. And we had to put it back together and send it on to them. But, you know, it's just, that's the weird perverse way of a pleasurable moment. Is there I was, me and many other guards, because it was so overwhelming, the amount of packages coming in and going out. But it was fun, you know, just the wrapping paper, but we couldn't tear it open. We had to cut it open so we can put it back together, just open it enough to see what was inside. But I just distinctly remember that, you know, some of them be wrapped in shipping paper, take the shipping paper off, and then there was the wrap package inside. So you kind of got to open up a package twice. And then there was a smell that came with new things, new pajamas, that new pajama smell type of thing, or cookies that were all like Ron Cook's mom used to make like 4 or 5 huge gallon-sized bags of Ziploc bags of chocolate chip cookies. Come in this huge box. Not only would he have his yearly supply of underwear and socks given to him by his mom, but it also came with cookies. And that was one thing we could start eating, because his radio handle was called Deacon. But when Ron Cook's mail came in, we would look for his package and we'd radio him on the radio and go, Deacon, your cookies are in. And he goes, go ahead and enjoy them, you know, and we'd sit there and eat home baked from his mother in Oklahoma. I mean, he was a Midwestern guy, so I had that Southern Midwestern genuine home cooked taste, and boy, were they good. But yeah, the gifts giving was, you know, I don't even remember in the Secret Santa. Secret Santa was popular because that was pretty much our only real gift exchange amongst us as staff members, between each other, you know. The Secret Santas, it was just one gift limited to what, $12 or something.
Yeah.
And we all were given a chance to
KK,
hear.
remember? KK.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Kris
I love
Kringle.
KK.
I loved that.
Fuck
Yeah,
yeah.
but we couldn't
These
bake
stupid
cookies.
things. I love.
Yeah,
I
so
won't do it now. I fucking hate it.
Yeah,
I still kind of love it. Like, I almost kind of want to incorporate it at my work. There's only like 10 of us, right? And it would be so cool to like not really know who. but they're all sneaky. All the workers there are really good at their work. Like everybody's just smart, even though they're young and we're
Yeah.
all different ages. They're just smart. So I think we'd all figure it out, and everybody would just end up telling everybody. But it is fun. It created this fun vibe.
Yeah. It's the sweet little memories. I mean, to say we didn't have a,
Oh, I forgot about that.
We didn't have
Good job,
100%.
Gary.
Yeah.
We didn't have 100% misery, but there was these moments every year we'd look for certain things. You know, I like the atmosphere feeling of the season. Well, Southern California, there's only 2 seasons called night and day. But you would also get your rains. And then I remember the first time it snowed at the base back in the 80s, sitting there on watch, not realizing how, you know, you could watch the weather if whatever weather information was available. But just suddenly in 2-3 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting in the booth and it started snowing. And I absolutely love snow. It don't matter how much it's snowing. When it's snowing, I just love it. So, I remember the night that it happened, and I was trying to justify driving around in the security vehicle to do patrols just to go out and lay tracks in fresh snow up Lambs Canyon, or to get the windshield piled up. Or when we went to Big Bear as the whole org, and we went up there, and ironically, there was a snowstorm that showed up. The years before, we would always go up there, was never snow. And then this one year, it was like a blizzard up there. I absolutely loved it. And, you know, little memories like that. But, you know, the smells of a barbecue, good old barbecue, the hot dogs. Somebody asked earlier, wanted to know whether we had hot dogs or not. Yeah, we had hot dogs.
Oh yeah, I pulled that up. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah.
Oh, here's this one.
Rarely.
Oh, did you
Yeah,
right
rarely.
here? Oh wait, did you guys have to cook as kids? We did that.
She asked again later,
that's
did we?
expensive.
did we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
hot
Wait,
dogs?
wait. I have it right. I was like, oh, that's an interesting one.
I know.
For everybody.
Well, it's just interesting to people listening to these details, making them wonder what it was like for us, you know? Well,
Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause
Right
there-
here,
it wasn't all
Gina.
bad.
Oh, hi, Gina Marine.
yeah.
Okay, Gina Torino, guys, just brought me out today to a fabulous lunch. She's a fabulous lady.
Oh,
She
wow.
gave me so much amazing advice. I was afraid to meet her because not afraid. I'm a strong babe. But I was like, am I wasting my time to deal with some weirdo? And then I'm just going to be like, okay, learn that lesson. Nope. Complete opposite. So fun. And Gina, thank you so much. And this is a great question. Did you guys ever have hot dogs?
Yeah.
We had them on Saturday. Dylan, I don't know if you did this, but cadets had them on Saturday sometimes, you know, Saturday hot dogs and burgers
That started back in the
out on the sports field.
That started back in the 80s. Well, you know, when I got,
Reno's Day.
yeah, on Reynolds Day, always on Saturdays. It was always it started off more of a party atmosphere in that we look forward to it because Rick Asnaran and some other guys would see to it that we have kegs of beer at lunch. And what was not eaten, we have
Dylan, have you heard about this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I have
serious.
never heard of alcohol being
Yeah. No,
other
there
than
was-
when I was leaving
There
the
literally
Sea
was kegs of beer at our Saturday Reynolds lunch.
This must have been pretty
how
early
long?
80s.
Yeah, the early 80s.
Yeah, I was like, how
Yeah,
long
this
did
was like
this
in
last?
82 to 84ish. But it was also a lot looser. It was like when we have our Christmas parties, that's when
I wasn't even born.
the goldenrods would show up the next day because everybody would be having their reachy touchy feelies.
Out
And,
tooties.
yeah, and then you started
Heavy
realizing that's like
petting.
Heavy
God,
petting.
just touching a booty or a booby
Was
Or
that
going-
booby.
or doing the
No,
full
no,
bumpity
no.
bump all
Yeah, yeah.
resulted in the same thing. So
And-
people started waking up to fuck. It's like, dude, if I'm going to go the 10 miles, if I'm going to go with this play field, I'm going to go
Right.
the 10 full gamut. So people started learning this like, well, God, if I'm going to go out to D and go, have some sexual activity with somebody, I'm going to get as much as I can because I know I'm going to end up being on the RPF by tomorrow anyway. So, but yeah, the parties were Saturdays. We definitely had the barbecue.
I like how you say the parties. The parties.
Yeah,
Or
The
how much-
only
what?
parties we had. I'm like, what?
Parties?
Yeah, I
But
don't
these
know
are
how many
also
parties.
wait. I want
I
people
never
to
had
know
a party.
this is definitely about the children of that were not just
There
the
were no
quote,
parties
children
there.
but
Yeah.
yeah. This is earlier on in the years. Just to clarify, Jackson's talking about 1980, the 80s to even 90s. That's like some kid. I was born in 86, so like some kids were just being born in this time. So definitely you can see how things have shut. We're going, what the happened? But this
Yeah.
also happened at this time. But now we can see how things slowly progress to no more of this, and all of a sudden they're in
Yeah.
a jail, basically
yeah.
years later.
I have a question.
And
Because
Yeah.
I used to remember, like, There is so much of me that wants
Betrayal.
to call my mom on live and just be like, so here's the thing. She was the LRH comm, and I could have sworn when I was a kid, I saw people drinking beer when AOLA was #1 that week, and they'd get a whole bunch of pizza and a whole bunch of beers.
Wait, I do remember something like this in Clearwater as well. When I was in the
Yes.
Sea Org in Clearwater, there were certain people, I just didn't understand the concept of alcohol at the time. So I was just like, oh, bottles of what? That nasty tasting shit.
Yeah. I could never acquire a taste for beer, but you mentioned pizzas. And Liz, are you done saying what you wanted to say?
Gary
No, 'cause I
says,
really
but you
wanna call
mentioned
my mom
pizza.
live.
Sorry,
Well,
sorry.
After
Do
the
it.
new galley in Massacre Canyon was built, after it was built out from an old hotel style to modern day stainless steel, new grills and all that, there was also a hood system above the grills. And part of the new fire code is it had to have an extinguishing fire agent in their food grade extinguisher to handle any grill fires. Anyways, one time during dinner, somehow, some way, just 10 minutes before dinner was to be served, someone set off that fire alarm and ruined dinner in one shot. Everything under that hood became contaminated with Purple K. I mean, that's just, anyways, in the fire extinguishing world, Purple K is food grade. Said, yeah, it's putting out grease fires. So as a result, somebody ordered Domino's pizzas, and I could swear we had like 150 boxes of large pizzas sitting on tables in our dining hall. And it was the first time I'd ever really witnessed that could be done. But that's what dinner turned into. Everybody came down for dinner, and then to find that it was contaminated, and then they had to go back to work, and then we had to order the pizzas and then have them come down later to delay dinner.
Are you
'Cause-
sure someone wasn't trying to blow?
No.
Best
No,
pizza
it was
ever.
truly somebody fucked up in the galley, set the fire extinguishing system off,
Oh, I hate
contaminated
that,
dinner
dude.
in one shot, and there was like at least 150 boxes of pizzas. So you had to place the order and then wait for the time it took to bake all those and then deliver them. And there was like 4 cars that delivered them. Anyway, it's just a little memory when you mentioned pizzas and our parties and feeding of the crew. We never
Yeah,
saw
that's very
pizzas that often on top of it. You never really, it was rare to eat pizzas. So
Yeah, I was gonna say hamburgers and hot dogs on the weekend. Otherwise, it was the same extra scraps that we got from the Gold Base.
yeah,
Whatever was,
whatever they fed us was on the menu for that.
whatever was put in the pans.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely never got any hot dogs at Flag. Period. No, in the CMO, we didn't. We never had little weekend
That's so
parties.
funny.
or-
Period.
No, well, we were on a card system. Gary would know this.
Yeah.
And this is in what year?
Team share
in,
system.
Yeah, like our team share.
but this is
And-
in Clearwater.
Yeah, in the
Okay,
80s.
what
like
year?
Mid-80s
Yeah,
to.
Okay, same
like,
time ish.
and
No hot dogs.
No, seriously, we had the team share system basically consisted of a few cards, and your top card was like your social card. That meant you could go and do anything the org was doing. And then you had cards like your birthing card, your meal card.
Yeah, to be in possession of these cards afforded what the card defined as. So if you had a birthing card, having that card afforded you the ability to sleep in your normally assigned birthing.
Right. So we would sleep in under our desk. I like sleeping in my office because it was like you didn't have to go anywhere when you woke up. You're just like, yes, let's go to work. So yeah, we didn't get parties very often. We didn't. We didn't even get libs very often.
You
We
mentioned the
pretty
lack
much-
of seeing hot dogs. I remember I had a dog her name was Kira. It was a mixed breed between a German Shepherd and an Akita. She was such a lovely thing. Anyways, I was always enamored by dogs. You can endlessly scratch them and they always enjoy it. You could just, it seemingly is like, I'm getting tired of scratching and they just keep loving it. And I thought I should set up a machine to see, I could, set up a machine would sit there and scratch a dog in a spot and see how long the dog would stand there, take the scratch before they walked away. The other thing is how they're just seamlessly, endlessly hungry. So after a Saturday lunch that we had hamburgers and hot dogs, I went around to the plates because the officers, the more senior staff, didn't have to clear the plates, and the stewards would. So I picked off like 45 hot dogs, uneaten hot dogs off plates. And then I went out to my dog, Kira, and she just sat there in front of me, and I'd feed her one hot dog, and she'd swallow it. And dogs don't chew it. You guys all are familiar with dogs. They just
They
take
just
it down the
inhale
gullet. She took 13 hot dogs from a complete empty stomach. On her 14th one, she swallowed it and regurgitated it, went off and buried it, came back, sat down in front of me looking for another one. So I went up to 18 hot dogs, 5 of which she went to bury. But a dog's desire to have food for sustainability, I was enamored by this. It's like, it just doesn't stop. They just don't go, no, I can't take it anymore. But they open their mouth, take the food, they go bury it and come back for more because they know the value of what they're being given. So they want to keep it for later. It was just that was a little story with hot dogs being served on Saturdays. I went and collected them off plates that people didn't eat and tried to feed my dog with them. So
That's
you
cute.
guys
I'm
didn't
not
find
mad
that
at
as
it.
funny as it was for me. I'm sorry, but
I muted myself, Gary. I was laughing. I muted myself.
it's just
And I wanted to put this one. Look, of course they couldn't just have extra long break while they waited for
Yeah.
pizzas.
Nope.
Had to get back to work. No waste of time.
That's right.
Yeah, no.
That's exactly what it is. And like hot dog, hamburger, pizza, whatever, don't matter. It was like, and sometimes there was sometimes I would get back to the, it was always a buffet line of something.
Yeah.
So it's like, get it, whoever first come first serve. And so I would be like, so annoyed when I come late and like trying to piece together like, okay, here's a patty. There's no more cheese. Okay, at least I can put some, it was just really
Half a
annoying.
bun.
Well,
Yeah,
and
literally.
mealtime was mealtime.
You're lucky if you got a bun.
You didn't like, you couldn't go after mealtime and go get a meal and sit down and eat.
No.
Everybody had to go back to their orgs and get in a muster. And so you only had that short period of time to eat. So you had to leave your post, get there, get your food, be in line, eat, and then get back on post in time.
And then what about Judy? Mandy asked a perfect question. Was anyone allergic to something? How did you
I
combat
never
that?
knew
Like,
anybody had any
Right?
allergies. That was a foreign.
Shellfish.
That would be like you'd be PTS. If you
Yeah.
actually were allergic,
Right.
you would get handled in session.
Yeah.
wait, so
It
Liz,
wouldn't-
you've always been allergic to shellfish, but I don't think we actually got served
well,
shellfish
you never got
very much.
shellfish in the
Yeah,
sea.
we never got anything special like that, but
But never
So-
knew of anybody ever having any dietary
I can't
concerns.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except Shelly, I do remember that certain things couldn't be fed to her because she was on a path of some sort of something. So either no dairy that week or something. I remember little things like that, but that's it.
And it
Yeah,
would
I
have been
remember some of-
concealed,
Yeah,
I
I
would think,
remember some
more
of my
if
friends
it
that
was-
were like, well, it's like you said, Dylan, it's concealed because they consider it like a PTS or like
Right.
a bad situation.
Right.
So even if they have an issue, they just kind of go, oh, it's my like, or if they had asthma, for
Well, you
example,
don't
my
talk
friend had
about your
asthma.
case. So if it's
Right.
getting handled
It's
through
your
auditing,
case.
Yeah.
Exactly.
you wouldn't talk
Great
about
question,
being
Mandy.
allergic. You'd be handling an issue with your case, and that's all you can say. And if anybody asked you, they're drawing a line and crossing
Or you could-
boundaries.
Or
So-
not even that. You could be like, yeah, I'm going in session, so that's really good. I can address that.
Right.
Like-
It would be looked
Yeah,
at
I'll
as-
You're
be
like,
in
I'm
session
on-
later
oh, I'm-
today.
So I
I
remember
should
when
get
I
it
was,
handled,
I remember when I was a
Yeah.
little kid.
I have a PTS situation.
Yeah.
Or I should see what auditing action will help me handle that.
True, but
I
when
can't
I
wait
was
to get onto my
Purification
grades.
rundown. The
Go ahead,
purification
Liz.
rundown.
I'm stepping on you, Liz. Sorry.
So when I was a little kid, I got auditing like two massive times. One was because I told someone that I missed my dad, and I was immediately thrown into auditing to find out why I didn't want my dad on post.
Wow.
That one was
Yeah. You're trying to take down the
super.
Sea Org. Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
grief
Super.
on the tone scale is extremely low, and that would be, and so is apathy. So
Yeah.
those are very low. If you were expressing that would be definitely not okay in the Sea Org for sure.
Correct. And you're talking about like a 6-year-old that just had to say goodbye because my dad had to go back to gold.
Right. Well,
Um,
children are adults in small bodies. I just read that.
True. So then the second
No, and
time,
that's what we were forced to confront. Is that concept when you're a kid and you're developing, you're not able to. You're supposed to experience those feelings and have
Yeah.
people there.
Yeah. Just
Here's the
going back
thing,
a
though.
little bit. Go ahead.
I was the staff section officer, and I used to do the asthma allergy rundown on staff members, and I would even do
I
it on, Sea Org members that were below 18 as well. You can only do asthma allergy rundown has a special procedure in it and you can't really do that on someone who's barely new in the Sea Org.
So I have a question on that. Like, okay, Becky Hughes had, when we were marching and like they would have us run laps as punishments and whatever, along with spankings and all kinds of things. But I remember looking at Becky at one time, and she really was not joking. Like she had like, she was like, I can't breathe. Like, and somebody then pulled her off. Like, I remember her being on a fire hydrant, like one of the box, fire hose hydrants that we made or whatever.
Right.
She was sitting there like trying to breathe, like, anyways. And then she was like, I need my inhaler or something. They did get her this inhaler, but the person tried to start doing the asthma. They did right away. And you know how it is, like a touch assist. Oh, contact. Shh, just touch it back right away. Like, if it's, so for them, they don't see asthma as like a physical, like, oh, I broke my arm, bring them to the, they just think like, oh, she's dramatizing or she's creating. They would never use anxiety, but that is the word. She's stimulated or whatever it is. So they use this process, right? They started using this asthma process, and I had never heard of it until I remembered this, and B, that was the only time I heard of it, was using this asthma process.
That is so Sea Org. It's like doing a touch assist after somebody just was bit by a rattlesnake to ease the pain, and do a contact assist to take the pain away. You can try to hold the rattlesnake's teeth in line with your bite marks. I mean, that is the frame of mind bullshit of how fixed people are to the cult way of thinking. That Scientology's rules, policies, and procedures override anything other solutions in life offer to solve this problem. So it's almost like having a car accident. The firefighters are supposed to get there first and start doing a touch assist before they actually start plugging holes and fixing broken bones and getting them to an operating table to get their bodies fixed.
No, that's not true.
The compulsion is what's that?
That's not true.
What do you mean
That's
not
just
true?
Not true. Like,
what's not true?
When I was in the Sea Org and I was a staff section officer, if someone had a serious situation, I brought them to the hospital to the emergency room.
But there was certain cases.
For 3 days.
Yeah,
no
I'm not saying
how
it
much
didn't
took,
exist,
you
but
know?
for the majority,
Like we just got rid of the doctors in the system. We had to do that to take care of the staff members.
Yeah, no, and this is what I went through later on when I was drilling staff members, was affording the people. You walk around the corner, find a staff member collapsed on the ground. What do you do? That became my little mantra for training staff. Check the airway, check for breathing, check for circulation, call 911, start reversing that understanding that 911 is our enemy. It's actually our friend. And we pay money for that service. So let's utilize it when that service is needed. So yeah, Louis, I'm not trying to kill off on it. It's just, I was trying to help our listening people understand the first uneducated instinct of a standard Sea Org member, especially starting at a young age, is to apply an assist as opposed to fix. First, address any medical issues. It's like if you call a hospital or doctor's office, any sort of line of medical help to you, the first thing stated on the voicemails is if this is an emergency, call 911. Hang up and call 911 and seek help there. You're calling a place that is not an emergency service. So I was treating and training the staff to have that understanding that if you walk around a corner and find somebody injured, what do you do, and how do you stop bleeding? How do you check for people breathing and activate the emergency services that are there for us? It was just a life experience of, I do clearly remember recognizing that and goes, I got to train the staff on this.
Gary, and this was this at the Gold Base?
At the base,
where was
yeah.
Okay, so there's a bit way and we needed to hear that. Also, though, Louis had a very specific job, which I want him to say, not at the Gold Base. These are totally two different Scientology Sea Org properties, right? So there's kind of different rules and different standards. But Louis did. I know that there are points where somebody like Louis would be like, no, this is the point where they actually have to go to the hospital because then it could be a security legal issue on us. Yeah, and that's where he's saying it definitely happened. Where
I'm going to bet Louis wasn't thinking that this is a security threat. We need to get it out of here. I think he was more of compassion, truly. Now, Louis, my question would be:
I don't know. Let's ask Louis.
Do you feel you were having to you insisting that somebody seek or we get a medical attention to this person now, did you have to fight people through that and explain other Sea Org members, somebody saying, no, we need to give them assist? I mean, did you feel like you were going against the grain and pushing through this real life solution as opposed to a current existing Scientology solution to solve this? Or did you just naturally, we need to go to the hospital? Somebody walked up, he goes, I need help. You see it and go, yeah, you need to go to the hospital. What was that
John
like?
Lundeen was having
Good old John
Lundeen. Yeah, John Lundeen was our captain of American Saint Organization from when I was there, 1999 to 2013. And in around 2009, he started to have all kinds of heart issues, not heart issues, but his arm situations that were indicators. What was going on through my mind was, yes, I cared. I didn't want him to die. I want him to go to the hospital, and I didn't. And then another thing is, if he did die, I would probably get put on the reconditioning project force.
Right.
And I didn't want that. And then another thing was, at the hospital, they have good food there, and I can go and eat real food because they never fed us good.
See?
So those were all the reasons. And then I ended up taking him there for like 12 hours.
Right.
And they ended up running all the tests on him because we couldn't afford at ASHO. We couldn't afford to get him properly tested, which is what we wanted, me and the medical liaison officer, because we had seen these indicators. So I just took him right to the hospital, to the emergency room, and forced the issue. Then he goes and he thanks me for all that and stuff. Of course, there was no loyalty from him to me after that, or me to him. There's nothing to do with loyalty.
I'm surprised, and actually it's pretty cool that he actually came up to thank you for that. So that just kind of shows the impact you had on him at that moment. Stirred up enough empathy and compassion for him to come back and go, thank you, Louis.
Absolutely.
Which is nice.
Fuck that guy, man. He should have done way more than that.
No, I know.
Like,
I was waiting for that.
Bonus. I just saved his fucking life.
Yeah.
Literally,
like
no. The knowledge we have now is different than the knowledge and the reactions we did have when we were. Yeah, he's a John Lundeen, right?
But see,
right,
now,
Louis?
Our listeners should. You just shook hands with what life is reality in the Sea Org. Look at Louis. He was doing that out of compassion, kind of. I ended up getting some good meals out of it. I could eat good for 12 hours and then I'd be forced to come back to eat dog food again. And then he was kind of hoping that I just helped save our senior executive life. And no, 1 minute to the next, John was thankful. And then 10 minutes later, it's like, you fucking piece of shit. Whatever he
was busted to that post.
Mistreated you. And
I'll
it's
make
like
a short out of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, John Lundeen was busted to that post.
SSO?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, Aaron said he was busted to letter reg a flag or something.
Wow.
No, but in the 80s, he was high up. Like he
used to be at the Ant base. John used to be at the Ant base.
Right. And
he got Kakan status. He got Kakan status.
That was
the
first issue.
RPF.
No, not supposedly, Gary.
I saw it.
I saw
the actual issue.
But you're saying supposedly because he did not have a good high ethics level of
And at one point, it all got subtly changed and the emphasis changed. So a lot of things got conveniently canceled and conveniently dismissed that didn't fit the kind of new way of interpreting.
Somebody having Kakan status, Dylan, means that Dave couldn't execute his wickedness upon people.
Well, yeah, and it was.
Then he got sent to the RPF later.
There wasn't even. You couldn't even have ethics, protection.
1990.
Like there was, that didn't mean, and that's supposed to be, that's LRH policy. So that was subtly changed.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
I was reading. Still Dubel. I just wanted to say, from a dedicated never-in Scientology detractor for about the last 25 years, that it is beyond heartwarming to see this group of people laughing together.
I love how well defined that is. A dedicated never-in Scientology detractor. There, I mean, you only become a detractor by having experienced something first, right? But no, that is so well spoken, and also for 25 years. I mean, all that short sentence says so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dedicated never, and that's so cool. Well, thank you, still,
Thank you.
Dubel.
Dubel. And I just wanted to say thank you. Hi, Janice. And
There's Janice.
Janice Gillum
Janice.
Grady is in the house. She
yeah.
says,
She's gonna be
Laura, I
rocking
just got
it.
my SBTV shirt in today's mail. We'll be rocking it next time I'm on your
Such
show.
a beautiful human being right there.
Yep. Rocking hot. Man,
He is
we
such a
both are
babe.
learning from each other so much. It's quite wild. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Janice. Sweetheart. There was a question here that I put up, but then we were talking about the not being able to cook. And so I just didn't want to get it not it's from One Love. Hi, honey. 51,000. Question: do you let yourself enjoy the things you missed in childhood? We need to honor our child selves. Yeah, child selves. That's a hard word. Even as adults, I feel like two people: the child in trauma and the adult who eats Fruit Loops.
Well, my first thought and answer to that is, Dylan and Lori, you guys, of everybody sitting here, would be remembrance of this, but at night, that cool mist fog layer that would settle over the south side of the property, over the golf course, or you'd find little pockets of it and then a bright moon in the sky, and you would see the fog blanket laying over the ground.
Yeah, my mom, with the crazy camera she's manipulated with, she loves photography. She's sent me so many photos of geese and it's really beautiful.
Well, a little moment like that at night, it reminded me of this childhood, enjoy things from your childhood. Kenny Siebold, his wife at the time, what's her name? That little girl from Nebraska, Zona Siebold. There was a little house. It was called the Pink House. It was right next to the G units before the fence. What's now there's a chain link fence south. Anyways, it was just on the golf course. And it was called the Pink House. Some old lady owned it, but we rented it from her, and we housed various staff there. One night, I found myself with Kenny, his wife, and me. We built this little fire there and had s'mores. That was my first life experience of s'mores. In their eyes, they were passing on having a little special moment between themselves. S'mores. Yeah, it was like, wow, this is kind of cool. I didn't really like marshmallows, but the idea of s'mores. I'm sorry, Laura. Liz. I didn't mean to rally your wagon there, but
Doing it with s'mores.
well,
Liz, you need to jump in more. We all interrupt each other. You can interrupt us all, especially with this, because
Yeah.
How dare you not like marshmallows?
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
Greatest thing ever. And the best part is, I tell you, you can shove so many in your mouth. And then,
I don't know.
I love
Just in terms of that life missed as a childhood, I didn't get to have s'more events. I don't remember that,
No, we
but
didn't.
they make
No.
commercials about it now, the growing up having s'mores, So anyway, that's what I had to say about that. That's my answer to that.
yeah, I did not. The first time I had a s'more, I was probably like 20 or 22, probably.
Yeah. Well,
how old were you,
interesting.
Dylan?
What? First time I had a s'more?
What were your was that
Is that the
two?
question?
Sorry,
To me?
buddy.
You went like that, like two.
Oh, I was
that
saying
a
peace to
sign?
Lewis. Sorry, my
Yeah,
bad.
Oh,
peace to
cute.
Lewis.
And
We
then
were
leave,
saying
Yeah.
he sent us a private chat. He's gonna back out.
That was
So
me.
Oh,
acknowledging
okay.
your
Good
concept.
job. Okay. So s'mores.
yeah, that was my in terms of didn't have the bonfires and stuff like that. But anyways,
It's also hard to this is silly, but it's hard to read like even the first part of this question. And I love this human. So it just, do you let yourself, first of all, do you let yourself? That's already like, oh yeah, I barely even do that. I barely even give us, the time to like relax and do that. And when I do that, it's probably at We Spa and enjoy the things you missed in childhood. I don't think I ever think of my young baby self being a childhood at all. There was no
Yeah.
childhood in that in any way, shape, or form. I felt very military. You're on a mission. You're on a job. You're doing great. Good job. You're in uniform. Pass, flunk. No, everything was very like this. So childhood doesn't exist in this sentence for me. Were there things that I missed? I missed my mother and father a lot. I don't have that today still. I miss Tiger milk bars that they made in the 1990s, like 1994, where it was just the carob and the soft peanut butter or whatever.
And the aluminum wrap.
I cannot find them anywhere. And everything's
I had one
and people have
yesterday.
messaged me, by the way. So many people have messaged me like, oh, but they have these. And I'm like, I don't want any other one. I only want that.
Dylan just said he had one yesterday.
Yeah, they have it
No.
in Colorado. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what, and my other friend said that, and I'm
Well,
still waiting for that.
Did she
box
send you
to
a shirt,
come.
Dylan? Did she send you a shirt?
It's
No.
coming,
Then-
yeah.
Oh,
in the
then,
mail.
then you
It's
need to
already
send her.
sent. I have the
you need-
tracking number.
I
Please,
just
The
Dylan.
tracking number.
I
As-
Would you like
do.
me to get you some Hanson's root beer?
Oh,
I will
Hanson's.
gladly send
I like the
you.
man-
I don't know. That's
Mandarin
going to
wine,
be
that
my
was my
next
favorite.
mission. Is that hard
And
to get?
grapefruit
But-
was really good.
Yes,
Yeah.
Liz said that the
Trader
other
Joe's.
night.
Trader
Grapefruit.
Grapefruit.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
Dylan, I just think, buddy, you would, if once you get your shirt, I'd send kick Laura a Tiger milk bar.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And you
I just
can
wanna
tell
see
me
if it's real.
It's
Yeah.
probably
I
not
wanted-
the original one, but
Dylan, don't
I
back
hope they
out.
kept the recipe the same.
No, that's
yeah,
the
no,
thing.
it's good. I like it. I like
Somebody,
the,
no, I'm telling you. Anyway,
always
so
like
we're
the
talking about
original
things I
one,
miss. I see. So I've only answered the first part of this, and I haven't even finished answering. I just gave you 2 examples of very complicated
Because
situations.
this ding dong here,
Tiger
she's
milk
jumping
bar.
in.
No, not even that. I'm just saying I've only answered this part because even a normal question from one Love 51,000 that's always in our chats, even a normal question like, do you let yourself enjoy the things you missed in childhood? That sounds like a normal question, but I didn't have a childhood, so I don't understand really what that is. Like I don't not understand it. You understand that I don't understand. There's no relation there. It's literally a blank slot. It wasn't a childhood. It was my childhood. If we do talk about that, would be the 2 hours that I was hanging out with my family, sort of.
Yeah.
That kind of was the fun play. Ooh, I got to be a child because my parents are here. Kind of. Even though they were executives and I still had positions and behaviors to uphold, I still felt sort of like a child because my mom and dad were there. So for example, the spanking thing, when that happened, and then I thought, oh, my mom will protect me. And she thought she would too. She left crying and upset. And I was like, good, finally. And I even relaxed a little. I stopped having my panic attack. And then she came back with the L. Ron Hubbard policy of spanking children, and then
To
she was kind of like
justify
sad
her-
about
And then
it, but
it's
sad about
questioning.
it. She was sad and she was like, honey, how do we do it so you don't even have to get to this? Which is a smart thing, but
Yeah.
it also was so ununderstanding. It was
Yeah.
not understanding. It was like, and that right there, any mother, as we all know here now, would absolutely be like, no, I don't care what it says. Even if you are a hardcore Sea Org member Scientologist in that moment, if it's just hard to relate somebody that people like us that were under a spell. You are literally under a spell. How are you going to try to distract somebody that's under a spell?
Right.
Here's
It's
the
not
question.
like they
I'm
don't
sorry.
love us. It's not like they
What's that?
didn't
What-
want to do the right thing. Sorry, go ahead, Liz.
So you say spanking policy. You know how many times my mom told me she was going to bring me the spanking policy, but she took spanking to a whole new fucking continent. Like,
What do you mean?
maybe I'm wrong, but spankings are supposed to be, smacks on your ass. Like,
Whoa. Wait, what do you mean? That's what it was, but it was bare butt and it was literally as hard, literally pain so that they can feel pain.
Yeah.
What was
obviously,
yours? What
there
was yours? And it
different
was
executions.
3. For some
Did you
reason, we
get
got
spanked,
3 slaps.
Gary or Liz?
I got broken
Liz,
bones.
yeah.
No, oh my gosh, you got broken bones. No, I mean, I just remember spankings when I was in elementary school, going to the principal's office for doing something. You get the wooden paddle.
My
But
mom was.
I'm for Liz. It seems as though we just jumped down a ship that never wanted to be spoken about again.
Well, I'll speak about it real quick, just because when we were in Florida, if you look up my mom's history, she gave me a shiner so bad that she was kicked out of the LRH composition flag, 1989.
Like she hurt
Gary-
you so.
Yeah, Gary, she got
Like literally,
Liz
Mama
has
gave
been
you a
through-
shiner.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
this
gosh,
happened
I'm sorry,
all,
Liz.
no, and worse
That
stuff
is-
happened than this. So
Yeah, a lot
Whoa.
worse
Yeah.
happened, but
My Lord.
yeah, if you
we're
really
lucky
look at-
we're lucky
Yeah.
to be able to be like, oh, how motherly. Like, wait, when I say that might not be Liz understands my motherly, or what I want
Yeah, 'cause I
my, you
really
know,
like
what I
the
mean
green
by
ones.
being mothered. But but Liz has literally gotten abused by her mother severely.
Yeah, that's
Like,
while on staff.
Wow.
my mother has
Yeah.
never
On staff.
severely hit me. She's just
Wow.
abandoned me.
Okay.
1989. Look it up, Florida. If you find anybody that's from
And that was just
anybody
what was
from
on the
audience,
record,
89?
Jackson.
What was your
That
mom's
was just what was
post?
on the record.
LRH.com.
For F.
That was on Debbie
FL?
Cook's watch too. On top of it, right?
89 would have
Yeah,
just been
that's
Deb-
surprising.
Like Ron Norton would have just been finally
off of
taken
that.
up to in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Debbie Cook was tech sec in 88, and then
Jesus Louises, Liz. The
Yeah,
things
but
you learn in
they
a
all
day.
knew about it.
There's
And
a
if
pending.
you guys are watching that are on my channel or on Dylan's channel or Jackson's, please go to Liz Ferris, go to Liz's channel and watch, because she does talk about all of this and she talks about gruesome, crazy, like, how many bones have you had broken on your body, Liz? I'm
I've
sorry.
broken every bone but 3 in my body.
Literally. And it's not her breaking them. It's because of shit.
like,
Yeah.
So please go watch her
executed and
episodes.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, please go watch her story and
honestly
everything.
thought that's how all the kids.
It was normal to get your fucking arm broken or
It's
get
flat.
punched,
dislocated,
get
yeah.
a fucking a black eye that's reported randomly to the hospital, like from your own mother. Okay, sorry, I'm not gonna stop.
There
I'm
is a
gonna stop.
pending question here from a Japan of Green Gables. And Liz, I don't know how to appropriately acknowledge that, sweetie. Don't that certainly didn't fall into your ears. That was
no,
hard.
I'm
hard to hear.
processing.
I'm like
so
aghast.
sorry. It's not-
It's okay. I just thought everybody had
Was
it.
that at the
Now it's like-
hacienda? Did you guys live
Yeah.
at the hacienda?
yeah.
Only at that time. There's no Quality Inn, and that was because there still should have been around.
I just a little shocked. I don't
Wait,
know how
the
another
Quality
human
Inn, is that the one that had the pool and the dining mess hall?
called the
Yes. Yeah, the
Yeah.
QI was
Yeah, the
Yeah.
QI.
Yeah, that's where
That's
you
where
probably
I-
would have been because
That's where I was on route
where
lines,
they
and
kept all
that's
the
where they
younger
kept
kids.
any
Yeah,
any
the shit-
kids or
the
anything.
shitty place to keep the shitty people, basically.
It was
Anybody
terrible.
on security
It
or
was-
ethics lines at all. Anybody they didn't
relied-
want the rest of the organization seeing or
Right.
dealing with.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
relied on their food from a parent being able to get off post, get to the
Mhm.
dining hall, get the food, get on a bus, get it to the QI. And if they couldn't make it, like if their stats were down, they wouldn't get they weren't able to get out there and get food. Like it got really bad.
They would guess what they would do? Go steal eggs or food from the cadets
Right.
that
No,
were
and-
on those, and then be like, "Oh, thank you so much." They would literally be blessed that a cadet was making them food.
Right. No, it was awful. It got so bad. We caught wind of it where we were and had to do a bunch of missions to try to handle the inspect. It became a pretty big problem with the local community.
The funny thing about sea organizational bases that, one thing happened on one base, one happened. One consistent is the consistency of the inconsistencies of normal.
Me either, Janice. Just kidding. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
You hear more shocking stories about really, and again, I'm thinking back with Liz. How is it another human being could have not stepped in to stop that from happening
That's why
as it
she
was
was-
happening?
That's why
Right.
she was kicked
I mean,
out of
that's-
Florida. So, to give you a brief overview, is it okay, Laura, or do you want me to
Yeah,
just move on?
right.
No,
Yeah.
keep
Okay.
going. Keep going.
So,
I'm just gonna bring up
we originally-
questions and comments as we're going.
that's cool. So, my mom and I were supposed to room with another mother-daughter at the hotel or the converted berthing.
Right.
Okay. And one night she was just wailing on me, and I mean just really
I can't
bad.
even-
The
oh my God,
roommate
so-
stands up and says, "You're killing her." And I remember her saying that. My mom turns and told her to mind her own business.
Holy shit!
And then not even like about a month later, I'm going to say, I get someone from ethics coming and pulling me off the cadet academy. And they asked me, what had happened? This is what's been reported. Has this ever happened before? I literally was like, okay, this is it. We're just going to tell everybody it's going to stop. Literally told him everything, that it's been going on for years, that this is not even a bad part of it, blah, 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 blah. So what do? they pack us up and send us right back to AOLA, where my mom is the LRH comm and we're living together again. And it just continues. That's what Florida did.
You know, that reminds me of a story, Liz.
And it just continues. Like, that's not an easy word or phrase to say. It was normal. Oh, I guess moms just do this every time.
There was a staff member that after the entire day, I pretty much wandered through all departments and organizations of the IMP base just as a matter of routine to see how things were, how people were, yada, yada, yada. Early evening after dinner, I end up in the central marketing unit, and there's this girl. Her name's Sharon. I'll keep it there. But she had a fat lip, like I'm talking like a golf ball stuffed under her lip, and a black eye. And I was like, oh my gosh, Sharon, how did that happen? Because, you know, you just see her and go, how has she walked around all day and no one's asked her about this, it seemed. And her response was as though nobody asked her about it. And she told me, she told me that her husband hit her because she did not want to put out that night before. And I was like, what, Sharon? Did I hear this correctly? And she goes, yeah, he hit me. And she goes, it's not the first time he's done it. And I tell you, I will never forget that moment when I heard this. I said, I'm going to go do something about it. I went and got 3 of my fucking guards, went all the way out to the berthing, and I told them what we were going to be doing and who we were going to be doing it to. And I pulled that fucker out by his fruity looties out onto the front lawn, grabbed a bunch of his shit, and I put him under watch and assigned him lower conditions. The most I could do. I should have called law enforcement, but I didn't know that was something I could do or fallen into that category. It was just, I executed and I brought 3 guards with me. And I hear your story. I don't understand how nobody had that motivation to do it and actually did something. But when I heard another man beat another woman, and I saw that she walked around all day with this fat lip and had to endure that pain, and everybody was just casting it off like they don't need to do anything. Man, I was so enraged. I literally got in my truck. I said I took all my off-duty guards who were not on watch. Said, you're coming with me. We're going to go kick some motherfucker's ass. And that's what I did. And I'm not trying to make this sound like a big, hoorah, give me a praise for what I did. It just, I never stooped that low. I never witnessed anybody stoop that low of accepting something so insane in a mother beating her child. How could that be? Anyways, this is way years later, but I'm just saying.
I would say, and I would never to justify, but maybe to give a slice of an answer of something that, like John Shazowski says, in the early to mid 70s, corporal punishment was allowed in our school. So if it was allowed in the school system, wait a minute, Gary. So if it was allowed in the school system, even though somebody is leaving, the 60s and 70s or whatever to join Scientology, they're hearing this whole other thing. It doesn't mean their behavior is going to change. So, So even if this was normal, if this was allowed in our school system, it was definitely happening at home. You know what I mean? So if this is happening with Liz already, at this point, nobody is justifying or stopping. A, because we're just bodies, right? We're just bodies, so it doesn't matter. And B, your children in bodies. Your children are adults in small bodies.
Small bodies.
So not only that, you should be at the same level with your mother almost. So Liz and I and everybody, we're calling Liz her mother, but she definitely was doing anything but mothering her. But
yeah,
in the world,
and I call her mom now, and to be honest, guys, that stuck me up. That word messed me up pretty bad, because my mom demanded that I called her Sandy. Like, if once you and I talk to my dad, or my dad is face to face, I've never called him dad. Never. It's Bob. My mom's name was Sandra. It wasn't until it was like.
Surprised you weren't asked to call sir, follow up with a sir.
Yeah, my boss. I got
literally
for not calling him sir.
Well, people are making mention there were 70s and 80s. Yeah, I got paddled in school, but it was not. I mean, there was a point of a lesson to be learned, not somebody executing their internal drive to harm.
Okay, and one other thing is, it's not, for me, it was done by a man who had just barely been over 18 years old, a full, 20-year-old at this point, 21, whatever, man, who And not only him, also other women, Barbara Tompkins, Ann Weber. Ann Weber was kind of the sweetest about it. Like there were other women and men who were spanking the crap out of people and they didn't want to. Ann Weber, I could see, it's not like Casavius Tabioya wanted to do it, but he also, it was like the solution. It was like, look, this is the only thing that's making these kids, these non-kids, get in line is by physical abuse until we can get them quickly brainwashed. That's basically what it was. The spanking started to work. Like, because they were doing it so hard, because our confront level of pain and work and abuse was already so high, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And you know, okay, I'm kind of in the same realm here.
We're just a body and we're children and, you know, and we're not spirits, you know, so even as we're getting spanked, I'm like, I'm not a body, just go out of my body and then come back in every time he spanks so it doesn't hurt.
Were there ever like hula hoops and jump ropes and hopscotch and shit like that played out there? Or was it all organized?
If you didn't have it confiscated, you were allowed to have it on the meal breaks or the 15-minute breaks at school. That's it.
How about that history of like flying a kite?
Meal breaks,
like,
PE, that's it.
Did anybody have a kite? Anybody have a hula hoop?
During those minutes, literally during those 30 minutes or 40 minutes of PE or hour PE. That was the only time. Any other time it was slacking, doodling, you know, make, you know, other fish to fry. It literally was.
Kids couldn't have that little moment of sitting out there on the side of a hill,
if you quickly
on a string, watching the kite.
No, I would do that and they considered it blowing because I was gone for hours because I knew I could lay in the grass or the brush.
Right.
Don't mind the mountain lions and the snakes, but I would look up and I could see the hawks just flying and I felt now it's the equivalent of being on ecstasy of like just happiness of like, you know, it felt pure and I felt so free. It was, and the fucked up thing is I would relate it to a locational. I'm like, Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard locational does work because look, I just kind of did a locational without realizing and I feel really good. I felt so good that I was okay to go back and just confront whatever I had to confront.
Yeah, interesting.
Sometimes.
For some reason, these thoughts are popping in my head. It's like, I wonder if the kids
I
ever
love
had,
it. Yeah,
because you couldn't have a kite flying up in the sky and just sit there and enjoy it and become enamored by it all day long. No. By the time you get it strung out, you'd have to reel it back in and you're racing against a muster or something, you know, and that's what I mean. It's only minutes. It's like your 15-minute breaks during course studies, which seemed like so long. Once you got your food and stuff in your hand, you were like, whether you're playing marbles in the playground or you're flying that plane or you're testing the airplane you were secretly making in the dictionary, like, or whatever it was, you know? Yeah. So there's only these little breaks. Other than that, every minute of the day is why are you not in bed? Yeah.
Why are you? It's like lights out.
A lot of whys. Why? I don't fucking know why, because I want to fucking be here and do this.
Exactly. No backflash. No backflash, Gary. And that is also out FO 38.
I don't give a fuck. I know.
Okay, Jackson, here you go. Jackson, what were you trained to do if the FBI raided the place where you were?
That's a loaded answer. That's a loaded question with the loaded answer, because there was a number.
Purple Groovy
things.
Always has some good questions.
I wanted to go backtrack here. Janice, just because it supported the topic we were talking at the hand of Janice and Captain Bill. Captain Bill was a previous long-term Sea Org executive staff member on the Apollo ship, where Captain Bill gave his wife a shiner, and even Hubbard himself saw it was wrong and put Captain Bill through handling for having done it. See, so there was one time, and again, it's based off the person, I'm going to suspect, because even like Louis was saying.
Janice. We all have to look at something really quickly.
Sure.
Okay, Captain Bill once gave his wife Joan a shiner. Captain Bill punched his wife in the fucking face.
Right.
And even I can't even say his L. Ron Hubbard. Sorry. L. Ron Hubbard.
I think it's L. Ron Howard.
I think it's L. Con Hubbard. I might get it wrong. But anyways, I'm not making a joke about this. He noticed it was wrong and gave him a handling. Janice, what's the handling? What's the legal handling?
Well, it's not legal or
Handling
not
is
legal.
an LRH handling.
No, understood. But
Okay, I want to be clear about it.
and
It's
her
not
point being-
what we've accepted as society. I love
Sure.
Janice. She knows
Yeah.
I'm going to be a ball.
She's just obviously pointing out the fact that Hubbard, whatever tool that he
had
used to
some
handle it,
insight of kindness, and I'm sure
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
nobody's saying that. But what I am saying is, what the fuck, Janice, was the handling, and the legal handling is he would go to jail. That's literally what it
Well,
would be.
it may have been an
Or
overboarding or down to the chain locker. Or
But
some
that's
shit.
L. Ron Hubbard's
know.
version. Okay, Gary,
everything-
it's not a joke, though. I know you're kind
No,
of
everything we've been talking about tonight should have been addressed through law enforcement or done some jail time
For
with
sure.
Bubba.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
and
I love you, Janice, but like the handling is not what made it okay and he got fixed on it, or good job, LRH, he got a handling. No, the handling should have been he went to law.
Yeah.
Somebody reported it to law
For an
enforcement.
assault. He
Right.
should have an assault
Period.
on his record.
That's it. And
Yeah.
then the police and the judge will see, well, has he ever done this before?
Right.
Da, da, da. It wasn't up to L. Ron Hubbard.
No.
That's what I'm getting to.
And that was in the 70s of Sea Organ Scientology.
Exactly. And a
then-
lot of people were doing a lot of
Yeah.
fucked up things.
So,
Anyways.
My
still
only
are,
handling
but-
was throwing this guy out in his tidy whities and making him feel like shit on display. And I put him under watch and made him do lower conditions. That's as much as I knew I had the right to do. I should have done otherwise, but anyways.
No, there's no. I'm not even. What I'm just clarifying that.
Yeah.
A handling by LRH is never an actual legal handling when it comes to an abusive situation.
Yeah. No, I absolutely understand.
Okay, that's all. I love you, Janice. Sorry, I didn't want to put you on the spot, but
Well, and it's more like to address Liz. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a wound that's already infected.
Yeah.
And even if, I feel a personal responsibility because I was in the CMO around like in '88. But that never came, that was never reported. And even thinking of that, even if it was reported, we would have never reported it to law enforcement. It would have been exactly that. It would have been handled internally. That person would have either been, they would either confessed or they would have been sent to the rehabilitation project for us. It would have been tucked away in their folders, nice and tidy, and nothing else would ever be done about it.
Right.
And that never addresses that original wound. And I just want to say that I see that, and I acknowledge that even if it would have been a temporary relief, I wish that would have happened, so that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But
would have been nice.
it would have never addressed the real original wound
Right.
that happened to you as a child that you had no control over and did not deserve. So,
But everybody continued on loyally following the one that set the example. The appropriate heifer was making some sort of reference to some sort of joke in here that I missed in the. I wish there was
Apostate
some.
Alex, wait, Jackson. Apostate Alex said Scientology thinks it's above the law. LRH believed his tech was a much better solution than the legal system, but in fact was a lie he
Of
told to
course.
justify covering up crimes and abuse.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, Elizabeth, as I like to call you,
And yeah,
because that's who she's through my eyes, Elizabeth. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little shocked at myself for not having been. You've made an effort to communicate that. I just did not know that was an incident in your life, but because I just remember, as in my position as security chief, I had my limits, and not to say that I was challenged on them often, but I tell you, did not have to think about what I needed to do with what I just discovered, and I did not delay executing my choice of what I wanted to do, and it makes me wish that I was back at these other places, because you tell your story. I would have picked up your mom by her curly hair and brought her down to ethics and held her accountable. Whether it was the right, wrong, or indifferent, she would not have continued that on my watch. And be allowed to create an atmosphere where she does it and someone else says you're hurting her or killing her, and she tells her to shut the fuck up, basically, and quiets that staff member from reporting something. That toxic environment is just incredibly disgusting to think. I'm so glad it wasn't rampant at the base. Mentally and spiritually it was. And I didn't know any indifferent or how to deal with that. But I got to tell you, physical, grotesque, man-beating woman didn't happen that often. Even physical, guys in conflict with one another, staff members in conflict, just getting down to a bare knuckle fight. That didn't happen much. It was mostly all just a big fuck you match.
Yeah.
But Jesus Louises, that's it's such in conflict
So
with.
there's so much. There is so much. There's so much conflict.
Yeah.
I was even here's one thing I like. Just to keep it's so great. I literally, like, Dylan taught me. He was like, just write little notes so you have little bullet points of things to talk about. So most of them we've actually brought up and talked about, which is so great, and I love that, because that's the whole purpose. Is like, I wanted to just naturally, just cause all of our stories are like blah blah blah, they're so similar, and we're like, oh, and this was that didn't happen here, and I'm like, no, and Dylan's like, we never got hot dogs or whatever. But I would even like
the never got hot dogs.
Yeah.
I did message my mom. So I have to ask you, when you were the LRH com and you got pizzas and dessert, was there beer there too? Okay. Response. Beer only at Christmas staff party.
And that was New Year's. Usually it was after the New Year's party for the
We were
public.
over the rainbow with the Imp Base, so we had it
Yeah,
special.
you guys got all the special. And I missed my whole Imp Base experience was on the RPF.
Yeah.
So
Out at Happy Valley, mind you.
Yeah, out at Happy Valley Money.
I love how Dylan said my whole Imp-Base experience was on the RPF.
RPF's RPF, DP.
Yeah.
I was basically manual
It just meant
labor.
you kind of are exactly how you are now. You just were like, but why? Why?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that doesn't
I'm-
make
haven't
sense.
changed
Why
much,
don't we do
except
it
for
this
no then
way?
beard.
Well, I thank you
that's
for reaching out to your mama there, by the way. That was kind of fun, Liz. You did that. while
Liz,
we're
and I
having
was going to
something.
say, that's really crazy that you're able to reach out. No offense. And maybe, you've done whatever, and people can go watch your channel to see the progress and whatever. But I am your friend for life. Like, I am your friend no matter what. I really love you. I think you're doing so much good work. You're inspiring me to do deeper work for myself, and seeing you go through what, we've been going through and what you've been going through recently. It just feels really inspiring that, hey, you know what? I can get through whatever I need to get through,
Holy
so
shit.
I really appreciate that.
Do any of you know who Cece is?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
Cece Smith.
You see her comment from Reality Paying Guy White?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I knew each one of those gentlemen.
Me too.
I
Yeah.
did not know that her husband did that to her while she's 6 months pregnant.
See?
Holy shit, Cece.
Let's put it up so the whole
Yeah.
world can
And that's
see,
awesome.
because this needs to be,
Minimally,
but
Guy
no.
White.
What's awesome, Gary?
That the fact that those guys kicked, they executed their own version and definition of to whatever their own thing of justice on a man physically assaulting another woman, especially when she was pregnant. I mean, I'm glad to hear that took place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sad to hear that it even happened.
But where did this happen?
that would have been in L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
would
in
be
the
AOL.
Sea Org or
Yeah.
under Scientology.
In the Sea Org, probably I think over
So-
at AOLA.
Literally.
is my-
And so thank God a few of these people in their normal masculine minds still
Well-
had a decency to protect a woman.
That's Cece
You know?
still living that memory to today. I mean,
I love that, Cece. We know this,
I can-
Cece, by the way.
I know,
We
so do
love
I.
you, Cece.
The fact that a woman has to experience that in life is number one. It just gets my blood boiling. But the thing never taken into account before a guy decides to do that is this is going to be a lifetime memory that has no expiration limit for a woman, that she's now going to live this impact. And there's nothing, as far as I'm concerned, and unfortunately, nothing you can do to lessen that memory, to undo what was just fucking done. And that's what I hate about guys. I mean, dude, at least take some thought before you fucking do it, This is a forever changing moment in a person's life. So anyways, that's all. I don't mean to.
And maybe
not
that
on-
opens up a conversation of accountability and
Yeah.
and things like. And then when do we decide? Oh, we don't hold people accountable.
Right.
Or
Well,
when do we
there's
decide that because this person's so bad, this person has to be good? And when do we I think those are hard conversations that a lot of
really
us
hard.
were.
At least there was a small level of street justice that was executed at times. You know
right,
what I mean?
right.
That was needed.
Yeah, no, I
I
think that,
definitely. Sorry, yeah, no, go ahead, Jim.
no,
I'm
I think
on your.
there has to be a sense of just,
Yeah.
like there, like, well, like subjective and objective thought. Like, if our ethics that we learned were that you have personal integrity and you live by these laws and morals, well, then that should trump everything.
Right.
But for a lot of times it didn't. And a lot of people got away with a lot of crap that really, it's amazing to keep hearing stories that are happening right then.
Right.
And yeah, I don't, it's mind blowing, to be honest with you, but
It is. It's insane, and
That
also
makes
it. Yeah, go
sorry.
ahead. Liz. Go.
go, Liz.
Cece's story makes me. Can we find out what year this was?
For your mom or for Cece or for who?
That AOLA didn't believe
Oh,
me.
Cece. I'm gonna say, well, shit. I mean, I was in Los Angeles from '79 to '82, so it had to have been. Well, I don't know. That doesn't mean that it happened while I was there, but Cece.
Well, when did Guy leave? He left in.
Well, Guy went up to the base. He was at the base
Right.
in '84, '86. So
But he was CLO before that, right? For
yeah,
the
he
whole
was.
Mexico and whatnot.
Folo, yeah. So Cece, I'm gonna say Dylan the years, and I'm still dealing, of course, but I got friends. Yeah, see, I love that, Cece. Thanks so much for sharing that, the other spectrum of that life event.
I'm just curious. It's just making me curious because it's like so much of me wants to be like, Cece, was my mom the LRH com?
83, 84. See, I was right. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say
yeah. Well, it looks like she's live and answering. So it looks like you're gonna get an answer here any second.
RPF 83, 84.
Yeah, but whether your mom was CC, yeah, she's a very resilient.
Liz, what did you say about CC or something and LC or
I
something?
wanted
She
to
was,
know
she
if
was
my,
asking if
if
Oh,
my
that.
mom
Okay,
was the
good.
LRH
I was like,
com
was that it?
when-
Yeah,
when
yeah.
CC's
Because
incident
of course,
happened.
if she's doing such horrible things to me, why would she believe that anybody else?
And also wasn't she getting sec checked at some point or having a, you know what I mean? Like as Sea Org members, you're always under some trouble. So
Well-
wasn't it like, oh, you're beating up your daughter? Or how did her bone break? What happened? You know what I mean?
And honestly, it wouldn't be necessarily the LRH com that would be responsible for that.
No,
It would have been if you were in LA, it would have been CMO IXU or CMO PAC. And if you were at Flag, it would have been CMO Clearwater. And those were the people that were prior to RTC reps that should have sniffed that out and found that, honestly. So it would have been a mishap on that level of management at the time, not necessarily an LRH com.
yeah,
Although they should have caught it, but
But I'm
They
saying,
should
like,
have caught it.
just like all things in Sea Org and everything that's gone wrong, who investigates the executives? Who does the meet? Who investigates Liz's mom? Wait, who gives David Miscavige a sec check and then announces his ComEv to the whole organization? Who does that? Who sends David Miscavige to the RPF instead of him sending everybody else in the world in the Sea Org to the RPF other than David Miscavige?
Yeah.
well, I think that's maybe a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
I mean,
because-
obviously it is. For
well,
sure.
and the
Yeah.
way, but it's actually the perfect time, not now to have the conversation, but timing where Cece's talking about 83, 84. Right that was the beginning of all that subtly changing.
Yeah.
And nobody, everybody's like, well, we never thought, who was supposed to be the leader for Scientology after LRH, and there was never supposed to be a leader. There was never supposed to be. He was supposed to drop his body.
Yeah, and then
even the loyal
a
officer
board.
issue was them trying to make up an unusual solution.
yeah,
If anybody was removed at that time from the organization, they would have seen that the way it was set up was to cross check and balance itself.
yeah. Then that was the whole board, that executive structure was supposed to be at play.
And so for the gymnastics that DM had to do in order to create a leader is what is subtle and people miss, and this is where the true emphasis of the really nasty policies of the Sea Org have really come to light and been exposed.
Yeah. See, there's Cece's beautiful statement. Liz, did you see her answer to what was going on? She was, your mom was there in 85.
Okay, so it was.
Cece was a Trezsec in 85. Sandy was LRH Com. She was full of smiles. I mean, that's the good memory that Cece has of your mama.
It's on the screen.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, sorry.
Cece. Hey, Cece, let us know if you would love to join us for a live chat, because I can go out there and set you up and help you. That would be so cute. And then I'll come back and we can have Cece on, because Cece has so much knowledge. And Cece, not to put it together, but Cece was at the Celebrity Center. Cece protest with me, like with all of us, and I have warmed my heart. She, you know, in the YouTube, when you go to my live videos, guys, you can go and watch my screaming ass the whole time. But it actually sounds way louder on my channel because my phone and stuff is with me, so it's picking up my voice and my phone. So it only is trying to pick up me, which I was hoping iPhone would have figured that out. Just kidding. Apple. But anyways, the point is there's the, you know, like when you hover over it, the like repeating thing shows Cece coming up, mwah, kissing me on the cheek. And it's just repeating that. And I'm like, yeah, proud SP. And she's like, mwah. And I'm like, oh my God, Cece. And that's all it's doing. It's like repeating this like, mwah. And it's so that's Cece. Anyways, Cece, come join us. That would be really fun.
That would actually be so cool. She was
she's been saying how much we all give her therapy and how strong and I'm like, Cece, you're all part of it. Like, we're all part of this. Like, I feel stronger every time I get a message from Cece or a cute thing or a worry about this person, or Liz texting me about this, or Jackson calling me about this person. Like, I feel stronger about our community. I feel even stronger because we're talking, we're healing, we're really saying what's up. You know what I mean?
Hey, I have to go soon, so I wanted to announce that I got to back out of here soon.
Okay, we love you, Gary. You can go. Anybody can go at any time. Me and Liz are the strong ones that hold through the longest. So whoever has to go's got to go.
My weakness is
no, we love you, Gary.
I know,
for sure.
I know.
No, we love you. You got to go whenever you want. Please, if anybody's watching that has any questions specifically for Gary or any comments about whatever before he runs away, you go ahead and do that. Can I undo this thing about CC with the Trezsec in 85?
That was just pointing it out to Liz that she got the answer she was looking for.
Oh, Janice asked this though. Liz, didn't they take you to a doctor for broken bones? Doctors should have also been questioned. Yeah. So can you answer that?
Yeah, they took me to the one down the street at PAC. The one that's by the birthing.
The Scientology Shaw Health Center.
Shaw Health Center, yeah.
Owned by, this is why I wanted, this is a great question. Like literally, like they bring them, the only people any Sea Org members are allowed to go. It is a flap almost if they have to go to an outside public hospital. That's a flap. That's like, somebody, the MLO has to be there watching, making sure they're not getting any psych drugs or whatever. Anyways, but it's a flap. So everybody doesn't know this. The only main doctors were Dr. Dank, who was L. Ron Hubbard doctor, or somebody who worked with L. Ron Hubbard. Janice can tell us all about that. Dr. Dank, Stephen Price, Dr. Stephen Price, who was a chiropractor, and Megan Shields, who would, and on another note, there's this other doctor in Clearwater. Please, somebody help me. The one who's like known in Clearwater, and he's a fraud too. And he's also a chiropractor, but calls himself a doctor or whatever.
Never
Do you
knew
know?
who he was.
No.
Dylan, you remember her name, Dylan?
Ship. Dr. Ship.
We did not stay.
Ship?
No.
S-H-I-P?
No, it's not that.
SHIPP.
I don't know that. No. It's somebody else. It's somebody currently who's literally current.
Oh, okay.
I'm forgetting. I'm blanking on the name, but trust me, I know
Right,
they worked on.
You beautiful people. I'm going to back out, even to you, Janice, and all you fabulous people in the chat. Nice hanging with everybody.
You too, Jackson.
Right.
Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
We love you so much, Jackson. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Okay, fun. Fun.
Now, see, now it's dirty because now it's a threesome.
Ah, dun. Do not sing that rhythm. Do not sing that rhythm. Ew. Why was I singing that rhythm? Because it's a threesome.
Yep.
Wow.
A bow, chicka, bow, bow. That's a better rhythm. Don't do that rhythm. Don't do that rhythm either.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Or like Lords of Acid
okay.
or something, right?
Aw, somebody missed all this. Japan of Green Gable. Gary, could you tell the story about the music festival? Sorry, honey, Gary. You gotta go ask him on his channel. Uh, um, okay, so not to bring it back down to the downtone to the children are adults in small bodies, but somebody I was watching Aaron's channel and Aaron asked somebody, what was it? Maybe it was Natalie or somebody that I don't know. But he said, "Wait, yeah, what is the purpose of sex checking a child? Or what is the purpose of interrogating or putting a child on the Joburg sex check or a past life sex check or something?" That to me is was a huge yeah, right there for the FBI and for everybody. What is the purpose of sex checking a child who has been born and raised? Not only that, but other people who have been born by Scientologists under their freaking behavior. What is the point in doing that to a minor?
To break your spirit and soul.
I mean, it's almost not even a real question, but it's almost like, wow, this is like, yeah, the intention is to control their mind. It's to take advantage and control the child's vulnerable mind. And to make them believe that like their past life things and everything are real, like, cause you go past life on some of these things. There's it's just like anyways, I can't fucking imagine a daughter of mine, if I ever have children, or anybody of my good friends' children going through this. Dylan, like your kids, are you kidding?
Yeah, no, I think, the way I was indoctrinated was a little different, because I was kind of raised in the mission network, and then in the orgs, and then I was sent to the Sea Org. So my indoctrination into Scientology was like Dianetics auditing, where it's like this fun experience and you recall some cool things and then you feel better about yourself. And so when sec checking came, I had already learned the TRs, so I had already been kind of indoctrinated, and my aunt was a supervisor at a mission forever. And so we would do TRs. I do TRs like all day. I do 2-3 hours of TRs every night, 5 days a week, so I think when you're indoctrinated like that, when you start doing sec checks,
can you imagine your kids doing that every week? Like, oh, you have to go on court. Like you're instead of like picking them up from school, you're bringing them to the org. They're going on.
Oh yeah,
court.
you go straight to the mission. You go on
right
course,
from school to the org.
You write letters. You sell books. It was a community thing.
Yeah, go do something at the org.
That was part of the allure, was that everybody in that little community that was into that hung out there. So you were all kind of together doing that, and it really normalized that kind of child abuse. Instead of us being at school, a lot of us were homeschooled, and a lot of us were, there was that whole lifestyle.
And the whole fact that Scientology and the Sea Org and everybody's policies of LRH disagrees with the whole school system and thinks that it's bad and they're dangerous and they're going to put you on psych drugs and all this stuff because they're involved with the whole outside world.
Well, it's how each echelon
it's scary to put your kids in that's what you feel even in the Sea Org. As somebody who never been in the outside world, I was afraid, not for my children, because I never was going to have children, right, in my world.
Right.
I was afraid of the outside school system.
Right. Well, sure.
Just even that being like, and then I was like, when I was starting to get older and wanted to leave, I realized, oh, I don't have to go to school.
Well, I would imagine, or I would hope there was that short second that your parents were terrified that they had a kid in the Sea Org, and they realized that they had to double down on their cognitive dissonance of like, this isn't a child, this is an adult in a small body. This is a being that's lived hundreds of thousands of lifetimes. So you should know better. And you are even getting the advantage and the bonus of being born in the Sea Org in.
And
you're
in this
already the
family,
uppest
yeah,
upstat of upstatteries.
yeah.
You know, I mean,
But
it's
you know, wait,
ridiculous,
just to
right?
quickly go back to what you just said about the parent, there must have been a second where they were like freaked the fuck out. Oh my God, my
Right.
kid
I
has
hope
been
so.
born. There
Right.
was. I
Good.
saw it in my mom's eyes, and it
Right.
was the first time because I'm here in my gung ho mission of leaving the Int Ranch, and we're approved, and we have this nice clean uniform, and we're literally
Mhm.
ready in my group with Kiri and everybody else to go to another state across the country. We are going out into the world to be outside, not to just go visit or a 3-day vacation, a secret quick vacation to go to my grandma's funeral and come back. This was like, we are officially joining the Sea Org.
Right.
Yes, our parents are at Golden at the upper level. We're going to join the Sea Org that's lower than that, but we are on the lines of the Sea Org now.
Right. Well, and it's interesting, like Jackson said before he left, he was like, I used to open the gifts and there would be these cookies and I'm like, what? Like
Mhm.
when I got sent to the Sea Org, that was it.
HTO would
I
do
heard from
that.
my dad like once, maybe twice, and that was it. And the only way I heard from him was because one of my grandparents died. And it would have been a flap, and that was the whole problem, was like, is
He's like,
this
I'm
going to be a
calling you because Auntie so-so died. That's the exact same thing.
right?
Like,
And
hey,
it was
Grandma
like,
Jessie died, so we need to figure out there's gonna be some sort of, we're gonna have to fly to Canada for a
service,
few
and
days.
it's all the
So get prepared for
non-Scientologists,
that. Yeah.
right?
And while they're telling us this, we aren't even holding our passports. We don't own our passports. We're not. So we know that,
And
this is all in my parents' hands or OSA's hands
right.
to book all this.
And you're worried about your stats. You're not even really worried about the consideration of somebody dropping their body.
100%.
Like,
Or
you're
that they're
so
your
more worried about your
grandmother.
stats than
And
you're
you don't
worried
even
about
realize they're
anything.
dying. You don't realize they're
Right.
gone. It's almost like, oh, good, I get to go to grandma. And you're like, oh, grandma. Like, for me, I didn't even realize she was actually like gone. Like, it's a funeral
Right.
for her. I was expecting to
Right.
see her for some reason in my mind. I
No,
don't know how to explain it.
absolutely.
I don't know
Because
how to
it's not
explain
real.
it.
Because we turn ourselves numb to a lot of this, and we normalize this abusive behavior.
And that she's
When
just
we
a
become
spirit.
hyper vigilant to not make it happen again. So we
Right.
learn to create and to nurture these narcissistic and controlling patterns that
Normalized
have been shown
behaviors.
to us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
it
Oh,
sucks. Go ahead, Liz.
I can remember when I was a kid, I would constantly be, from the youngest age, I remember going over my TRs. And if I was going to cry, if she hurt me and like the crying, if I didn't just learn to take it and say nothing, like have my TRs in during that whole situation, it started to fuck me up going in the long run. Because if you think about it, when you learn as a kid to do the TR drills, yeah, you're someone screaming or doing something at you, and you're literally just doing nothing. You don't realize how broken it makes you once you enter the real world.
Absolutely. Well, until you like really embrace your trauma and maybe agree to be a survivor. And that's something that doesn't just like go away. It's something that it takes a while to even strip down to the real wound. And then you have
Yeah.
to clean that wound out. And maybe you don't have the tools to clean the whole freaking thing out. So
Nope,
it's a
that's what my
process.
therapist is for.
Right. Well, and that's part of it, is developing that trust and developing that ability to put things that are hard to process and that are super overwhelming into somebody else's hands, and for them to be careful with them.
Yep.
And that's, and the fact that they have a big history of knowledge is definitely awesome, because then you can start to retrain that thought process and say, wait, this is what this means, and identify your trauma. And then you
Yeah.
can't really, at that point, then it's up to you to heal and be on that journey and recognize, for me, it's like recognizing the triggers. It's if I recognize it after the trigger, I'm usually like, oh crap. If I recognize it during the trigger, sometimes I can kind of catch it and be like, whoa. But my goal is to kind of see it as it happens and try to avert it in a way that is beneficial for everyone. We're all trying to heal here. If I make you come to my pain and my trauma, I'm going to be dangerous to you because I'm going to be reactional. I'm going to be defensive. And if I go into your space, same,
Yeah.
so we have to play in this neutral ground until we can develop some kind of trust. And that's something we weren't really ever taught. We were taught to be like, oh, thank you for telling me that. Report. And you're really taught to, and then you question
Dylan's
morals
joking.
later on.
For you listening, guys, everybody, we got some awesome listeners. For you guys, he's making a joke when he says, "Oh, report," like, "Oh, I hear you, report," because that's literally what happened with my dad. My dad and me.
It is right.
I was very obviously emotional about it in the Over the Rainbow. You can see little clips of it.
Yeah, in your documentary, that right.
Yeah, which I don't really support because it was supposed to be about the cadets
Yeah, but
and
your
all the
part
gross
was
shit.
real, Liz. Lara.
No, but like for real. No, and it was
real.
real.
That
and
was
there's
a
but
real
also
moment.
there's chunks of it missing, which I just
Right.
trying to get the whole thing. But
I'm
whatever.
sorry for that.
Anyways,
but that
no.
was
But
powerful,
even
your
what
part,
was
yeah.
said, exactly, it still shows people exactly how a Sea Org father or anybody in the Sea Org thinks. It's not just the father. My dad does care about me. He loves me. That's the fucked up thing. He's struggling with him. For him to even pick up a phone to have this conversation is already so burdensome for him. But
Mhm.
this, you can hear him even in the phone call where he says, like, I listen, and he's trying to be like official. I love you dearly. Like he says something like that, which is
Right. Well, and it's,
manipulative. But
they look at it like it's developed traffic. You've just
literally,
put
like,
a
you
lot
don't
of
need to
crap
be
in their
doing
way.
this. Yeah.
And now they have to navigate all this crap that you put all your crap in my way. Now what? Now I have to write a report on
Yeah,
you.
you caused
and
this.
right.
You
and
created
it's so,
this.
but that's that's projection. And that's
Yeah.
what
That's what I said.
Scientology
It's like manipulative.
teaches you how to be a genius at, is projection.
Yeah.
So sucks.
And Cece says, I raise my kids differently, but when one
Did we
goes
answer
with
the last question?
no, I don't know. Did we? I can go
I
back.
don't think so. but-
Wait, let's just get this. Cece says, I raise my kids differently, but when one goes without sleep for so long, they do things unthinkable. Yep. Very much true.
Well,
and
you were in
then
an unthinkable position, Cece.
yeah,
and give
Cece,
yourself grace,
literally give yourself
because
grace, baby.
and the fact that you feel that for your kids is it's admirable,
Yeah.
because our parents don't feel that shit. So it's and I'm a parent now. That's why I'm so freaking emotional.
Yeah.
Is I am living this through a couple different lenses, and I'm having to navigate a lot of these weird feelings of being this person that I never had, and beating myself up of whether I'm doing it right, and not being able, knowing that I'll never be able to experience it. And that sounds selfish as crap, but sometimes it's really hard to come to terms with that,
Yeah.
and honestly, it's okay to feel, and it's okay to go through that emotion, because that's how we heal and that's how we survive,
And we need to go through that emotion constantly,
Right.
and more and more and more. So we really truly for ourselves feel that it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel. It's okay. And then we enjoy the emotions. We're like, I'm feeling like shit. You need to leave my space. Like you're
Right.
actually able to say things that are just common sense. Like, actually, I don't need to
Mm.
put up with your shit. Get the fuck out of my energy. Literally.
I don't do that.
I mean, I do.
I'm terrible at that. But
No, I mean, I'm learning. No,
boundaries
I'm
are
saying we're
hard,
learning.
right?
I
Yeah.
am getting better at it.
Yeah.
But like,
Boundaries suck
boundaries.
for me.
Well, healthy boundaries, like, and not having expectations, and trying to have acceptance, that's really hard sometimes.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
here's the thing
especially
on
when you were
boundaries.
taught it's not okay to be wrong and it's not okay to learn. You should
Right.
already know it. You should already know it. So please be gentle when we're not learning as quickly as you think we should. Like, thank you, but to the
Right.
world. I'm like, but we also were taught it's a flaw. You should have already known this. Like, so we're trying to lose that, but that's like trying to lose like the way. Anyways, you guys get it. It's like trying to eat not with your left hand and the right hand, and you forget. Sometimes you just want to quickly say no and eat.
Right.
Ugh. Anywho,
Um,
sorry. I just don't understand why child protection wasn't onto all of this. Surely there was some leaks. There were, but they're all covered up, and Scientology is really good at doing that.
Yeah, they've been covering that
and
up for years.
well, and
and the
it's
way they do it, and by laundering, this is another thing on my their human trafficking, and the way they do it, they normalize it within the person's soul, the child that's not an adult, the parents, all the sign. They normalize that joining the Sea Org is the most amazing thing, and that Scientologists are not allowed to be connected to Sea Org information and data. So once that Scientologist kid is into the Sea Org, they have a job for the rest of their life that is more important than their parents. So like, even if their parents have concerns or
Right.
issues, or, hey, I haven't talked to my kid in a while, a week later, the kid will call up and be like, hey, mom, just checking in. Yeah, you don't do that. You're causing concern. I love you. I'm just busy. I'm in the Sea Org now. Okay, bye.
Right.
So they're on a whole different planet of Scientology,
Well,
literally.
and the love bombing that occurs when you
Yeah.
join the Sea Org is beyond
On belief. And
ridiculous.
before you join
Like,
the Sea Org,
I
before
was
you
I was
join that
ethics bait before I
contract.
joined the Sea Org. It didn't matter what I did. I was ethics bait.
Yeah.
As soon as I joined the Sea Org, I was the most upstat person. I was amazing, and it's crazy. Like, my parents loved me. Like, oh my god, my family loved me
Yeah.
once I joined the Sea Org.
I still think my mom and dad, well,
Right.
my mom and dad loved me because, again, I was born into the Sea Org and I
Right.
chose
No,
them as parents.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
yeah.
don't ever let them down. Ever.
Oh, my
Ever.
dad was
Even
so
in your Sea Org
excited.
decisions.
Yeah, he picked me up, and I wasn't that, like, I was tiny years ago. I got fluffier. But he picked me up and threw me around, and he's like, I knew this is what you were gonna do. And I'm like, now I look back on it and I'm like, how did you know that something really bad was gonna happen to me out there? So I came here.
Right. Yeah, like that whole I didn't.
Like,
Yeah, that's a weird concept to when you normalize it growing up. It's like, well, your grandfather was in it, and now he's an artist, and we're
Ugh.
in it,
And he
it's
did
like,
auditing, and he did, he got rid of his reactive mind and his aberration. So,
well, and when you look at it, they were like, I don't know
and
if
for
it's the
Liz
word.
Gale,
I don't
who
want
was
to
like
insult anybody.
considered to,
Right, but it's like the Jack Mormons, isn't that what they call, like,
yeah.
it's like you're in it, but sometimes you're not, and something like that's how kind of my family, they were like in and out of it during a little bit of my, because they're artists, so they're traveling around. So they travel around for 3 months, and then they go to a mission and do, hang out, and then they travel around and go to another one. So it's in around you all the time. But they were kind of like Jack Mormons, and then they tried to get their ethics in, and they tried to join the Sea Org, and it's weird when it's always in your life, and it's just that part of your thought process.
or
Yeah.
the vocabulary, and people out here look at you like you got screws loose.
Well, we might.
Yeah, we might, and that's okay now, because, to be completely honest, I go to therapy. I have to have what to talk about. But at the same time, it's still rough when you really look at it. You're like, oh my God, that's why I accepted all of the abuse. Oh, because the whole mentality of I can take it. Oh,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
and then when
Yep.
it kept getting worse, I'm like, oh, the mentality of it's okay, I can take it. And
And you
then,
have high confront, and you have high confront, and you have high tone level if you do take it, and you do continue to take it. You have high confront, and you have unconditional love, in fact.
yep.
Yeah.
Oh
Thank you,
God,
Super Pup, real quick. $20 cutie patootie with an attitude, constantly
I still
being the
love that
most
little dog
gorgeous.
bit.
Yeah, the boop. We got another Super Pup chat. That's what it feels like, the dog pic. It's uncomfortable to sit with your feelings and take them in. Give yourselves grace and time to become comfortable with those feelings. Thank you, Super Pup. We are doing that. Yes, and this is part of it for us too. Is doing this, especially with Liz. For me, Liz and Dylan are like perfect people to talk about
Well, and
stuff.
being like, I don't know that I'll ever be comfortable with my feelings, but I know that they are what they are, and if you just accept them for what they are, then it's a lot easier to deal with them. But it is hard when you feel that well of emotions that, I have that personal fear of like, will it stop if I let it start?
Yeah,
Will it?
that is my biggest fear. And that is why I'm on anxiety medication. Because guess what? I'm so scared that if I let an emotion like really just flow, that it is going to be like Niagara motherfucking Falls
Right.
with like a side of Janis Joplin going, yeah,
Yeah, I think
I'm
that would be
scared that it's going to go
the
boom.
beginning, and then I think that it would be like that for like a year or two.
Yeah,
Like
like hide
nonstop.
under a
So it's something
bench.
that is so overwhelming that you just try not to confront. Although I have been dealing with it, and I think with, when you go through what you've been through, it's something that's just going to be with you. And if you choose to like vomit it all over the place all the time, then people look at you. I'll segue to my youngest right now. He's at that age where he still feels a lot of emotions like a smaller child, but he's in like in middle school. So he's trying to figure out like, when is it appropriate to feel a cry, or like, because it's quite often, I didn't realize this, but in like 6th and 7th grade, when something's overwhelming for a kid, like at math when you're learning algebra, they'll just cry. Like when they start doing decimals and they don't know, they'll just start crying. And
I
they,
went through that all the time at the Int Ranch, and Ann Weber was like, "It's okay." At sometimes when she would have the time and space to be able to help me because she
right,
had
right,
50 other kids, she would take the time to say, "Okay, take this number and do this." Like, and if I could break that down, that was okay. But I think the overwhelm or something, I always would cry. It was just like I would cry, but I would be like watching my tears hit the paper. Like, okay, I want to
right.
get it. I'm trying to learn, and I would
Like
just
it's
be
a surreal, like,
crying.
what is happening? I can't
I don't
process,
understand
like,
why I can't get this.
right.
What the fuck is wrong with me? Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Why am I
That
not as
exact
smart as Darren
Right.
Bolsad? He's
um
another cadet.
so I could not understand for the life of me. My nana had died, and my nana was like my best friend. Like my best friend when it came to my mom's family. And always kind, sweet. So and I was her favorite. Loved that woman for the love that she gave me. But then at the same time, it when she passed away, I had zero feelings. I'm watching
Mm,
everybody around me cry, and I'm like, am I broken? Like I'm not like I'm not sad. Oh my
right,
god, what's wrong with me? I literally was sitting there in the church just like I'm broken, I can't cry. Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's feelings are they're sometimes there's so much that, yeah, I think numb is an easy place to go before we allow ourselves to feel, because feeling seems so like dangerous. So we
Yeah.
just kind of numb ourselves up as best we can and just like sit there in this slow motion stop animation state of like, oh god, I hope this ends, please let me be out of. Yeah, there's yeah, that's a terrible place to be. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm doing a little better now. I'm having the feels. I still can't really like I can't cry on a lot of things, but I'll cry at stupid moments.
Right,
Like
right.
we'll be watching a romantic comedy and I'm not crying because they kissed. I'm crying because the movie's over. And I really wanted to keep
That's
watching the movie.
one. Hey, it's got to come out some way, right? And um at least you're letting it out, because that's important. If you keep it in, what
Or
happens, right?
if I'm around Carrie and something I'm over like emotionally overwhelmed and yeah, her for some reason I'm good. I can cry around. Anybody else?
Hmm.
No.
Why do you think that is? I mean, do you think it's trust, the
I've never
bond that you
felt
guys have
comfortable
built?
enough with people.
Right, right. I
A
yearn
lot of
for that.
times
I
it's
understand that. Um, it's a basic human need that we were basically deprived of for our lives, like of that ultimate trust with someone,
mhm.
and it seems like some people got it, like I thought I had it, but my ex is still in the Sea Org. She's still doing her job in the Sea Org. So it's one of those, yeah, it's hard. You think that that's your soulmate, and then how do you trust again? And so
Yeah,
finding that person is amazing. I'm so happy you have that.
it is definitely amazing.
I think
Yeah.
on kids,
I
I
don't
know,
have it. Just kidding.
you don't, I know me either.
I'm
Sorry.
just by myself over here. I got I swear to God, it's so cute though. Every time I'm crying either on here or if I'm watching something and I'm crying on my bed, Foxy and my cats all kind of come over and start watching me. Like the cats sit and watch me. Or Fox will come over like, "Are you okay?" It's so sweet.
My cuddle buddy is like 150 pounds.
Did
So.
am I wrong or did I hear him snoring just now in the
You
background?
probably did. He's
He was like,
he's a big
I was
hairy
kind of like, what
man.
do I have on? And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Dylan's cute pop.
He's definitely a big hairy man. He's the happiest hairy man I've ever met, though. He's a super
um,
sweetheart.
hey Dylan, Amanda Beaumont asked, somebody else asked earlier for you, Dylan. I think we already answered this, right? Liz, have you cried since then? But somebody
Yeah,
asked you.
I've cried a few times. I've even cried on YouTube. That was wonderful. It made me feel amazing. No,
Somebody asked Dylan if they knew somebody at Delphi. Did you see that, Dylan?
Yes, that is my father, and yes, he is still there.
Oh, okay, there you go. Oh, so yeah, there we go, guys. Coming in late. Never late, as Liz says.
never late. Never late. That's
Never
right.
late. Um, to feel sorry, I'm just like reading it. To feel your own feelings is hard. And when we are nurturers, we learn to push ourselves aside for others. This is literally 100% what I do. And I'm
Right.
learning to also not do that. Like,
It's a
don't
trauma
push.
response. It
Uh-huh.
sucks, but
Like
and
even
then
today.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, little thing. Even today, somebody was like, sneezing. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I have cats and dogs. And she was like, it's not your fault. I have allergies and I already took
Right.
a pill. But because she's been watching, Gina, she's been watching and she knows, I said, thank you. I literally was like, you're right. It's not my fault. And I don't need to worry or put it on myself right away. It's my fault. I created it. Somebody sneezing around me. Uh-oh. She's like,
Right,
no,
right.
I'm allergic to the air and things. And anyways, I just was like, even that made me go, oh, yeah, that is a bad habit because that leads into me thinking I'm sort of responsible for a lot of anything sort of negative happening around me. Nope.
Right.
It just can deal with itself. It's not mine. That's what
Which
I'm
is, what's something I realized like a few years ago. My ex-wife, she was like, one of her big pet peeves about me was like, you know what? You never say bless you when I sneeze.
Ooh.
And I was like, I grew up in
You're like,
Scientology.
you're
We
like,
don't really
bless
do
you.
that. Like we've never, I'm like, and then I'm thinking, do we not?
Mhm.
Maybe it was just
Mhm.
me. And then the more like second gens and stuff I've been around, I'm like, when I've been paying attention when somebody sneezes and nobody will say bless you because it's not something that was normal, at least for me and the people that I've noticed. But
Yeah. No, I learned and I
it's
felt
those,
like bless you was for me a universal words cuz so many people believe in so many different religions and things. I just think bless you whether I believe in whatever. I do mean, hey, I understood. Good job. You got that out or whatever it is. Bless you. I care about your soul and your humanity.
right.
That's what
No,
I
I
feel.
understand. Yeah, that it totally makes sense. It just wasn't something that was like,
No,
it was
I
a little
remember
weird.
hearing the other kids do it.
Right. You're like,
Yeah.
And then I learned Gesundheit.
right.
And
Okay. Yeah. That's funny.
and I thought it was the coolest day ever that I learned some slang.
You're like, I know German.
Right. I'm
That was one thing
I
I-
had to put this off. I had to put this question up for Dylan because Candy Life was like, "Hey, that question." And I said, "Knock it off, Candy Life." Anyways, hi Candy. Thank you for always being here. Dylan, the Candy Life has always asked this question in multiple chats and all across
Okay.
the board.
Okay.
For Dylan, what is one thing that you want people to remember you for?
Well, at this point in my life, I would say for creating humans that are better than I could ever be. So I would want to be known for the humans that I bring in, because I had 2 boys, and in this world and this stigma with males right now, it's like, a lot of our society is a lot, left brained, and we're very analytical, which is something we kind of know growing up in Scientology. So I'm trying to keep my kids and instill them with the idea of, like heart over mind, and lead with your heart, and just have acceptance over expectations. I think I would want to be remembered for somebody who's fair and just, maybe. I don't know. So
I love that. That's really cool. And I do think you are you. Yeah, I'll remember you for that for sure. Oh, somebody said, Lara, it is Dr. Minkoff you were thinking of. That is correct. Ding, ding, ding,
yeah,
ding,
Dr.
ding.
Minkoff.
Emma, you win a prize. You
Robert
should
Minkoff.
contact Lara FM, Lara.fm, and email me, and I will send you a Dream Love CD, because I love when people answer the question I asked for in the chat and pay attention. So thank you so much for supporting and being here. There you go. Dr. Minkoff. That was the other that's currently still a doctor in Florida, Clearwater. Not a
Yes.
doctor. I think is a chiropractor who pretends he's some doctor, just like everybody else. Dr. Stephen Price. No, you're not a fucking doctor. I guess you are if you're a chiropractor. Anyway, whatever.
Kind
I
of,
don't
but
care.
not really.
Not a non-Scientology doctor. That's what I'm saying. Is all these people are definitely Scientology doctors. So no matter what they're taught in doctor training, a little bit is adjusted or completely not existing or removed because of Scientology's policies, laws, and beliefs. Right? Did I say that well enough, Dylan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds great.
Like, he's not going to be a normal chiropractor in the way that any other person would, because he's dealing with Scientologists and Sea Org members completely different than even he would to somebody who's seeing him as a non-Scientologist. I'm about to say WOG, but I'm trying to not use
Well,
that word.
and he would be totally using Scientology management technology, probably through like a WISE Institute,
Mhm.
or ABLE kind of thing. Not ABLE, but more WISE. And then they would usually, the more involved they get, they would then try to indoctrinate their staff as you come in with basic courses and whatnot. So yeah, they practice that, but they still have to be licensed. So they would, it's that weird juggling act
I think
that they
it's that
do.
weird in between that they get,
Right.
where they're still a doctor. Because how many chiropractors do you know push every single vitamin on the
Oh, it's ridiculous, right? And it's like,
Literally.
they do have that cool stem machine, and then the massages, and then that's, it's kind of like the whole spa tree. That would be my
Yeah.
idea of a spa day.
Oops, sorry. Oh, that was cute too. Hi, Joni Cummins. Thank you,
Yeah, it's
sweetheart.
at
First, I also
Blowdrill.
want to show you this. Hi, and thank you for helping me work through my own feelings. Thank you, Joni Cummins. And this one is for Dylan. Dylan, do you have a chat? Did I just miss it? Yes, I did right here. Question. Does Dylan Gill Blow Drill have a channel?
I
Peggy.
do. It's called at Blowdrill. There you go.
Boom. At Blow Drill
I'm just
on
kind of
YouTube.
starting. I honestly have I have a lot of stuff to say. I just have a hard time talking. I still feel like I'm talking to myself. Like, and I'm sure, like Liz, I've loved watching you kind of blossom, and it's I'm envied of how you've become so comfortable and how you just like chat it up. I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
it's-
like the I like going over things that I've learned. If that makes
Right.
sense.
No, it totally makes sense. You know,
Like when I learned to put a boundary in, like I'm still working on it, but I'm a work in progress, but this is what's working for me.
right,
You know,
right.
so
I think it's
I love
interesting.
that aspect of it.
Yeah. How has it affected you with like this whole kerfuffle that's happened in this community? Like as far as like I feel like that it's weird, like even coming in newer to like if I insert myself, it's almost like, you know, there's almost sides and I want to navigate a middle more than sides. And
Yeah, I navigate right
it's
in the middle. I'm like, I'm not picking sides, but you know,
right, right.
the goal is
Well,
get
but
people
at the
out.
same thing, I almost want to do like a newsy, gossipy thing because there's so much crazy info happening, and it's like it's not being talked about, but it's part of the therapy, isn't it? Like we can go back about our past and our history, but that affects us how we're acting today.
Correct.
And today, there's a crap ton of drama in this community. These are all people that I identify as chosen family, and nobody gets along, and it breaks my
Not
heart. Like
nobody,
it's
not
well,
nobody.
but
We
it's
get along.
Yeah, I
we
was gonna
do, we
say I
do,
thought we were getting along,
and
but all right.
I
no, but you know what I'm saying
was
is
like,
like
I could name at least 20 people that we all get
but
along
what
with in the
scares me is
SBTV
it
community.
seems like it's easy to um be like, hey, we're really good friends, and then that's it, we're done.
Right.
And I I don't, that whole black and white thing is scary to me. And
It is
it's
scary because that
Yeah,
was
hard
I'm not
also
doing it
to
taught
that
to
way.
us.
right,
That's how it was taught to us in the Sea Org.
right. And it's
You
hard to
either do it
navigate,
or
to
you
be
don't.
honest.
You can't even nicely say, "Hey, I'm thinking about leaving, but I really want to be in the Sea Org because it's doing the greatest thing." But you're
Right,
not
right,
allowed to talk about it at all. It's this or
right,
that. We're getting a divorce or we're not. You're going to the RPF or you're doing this. It's like you're going to this org, so you're getting a divorce. Like there's no other choices. So our
right.
whole lives was always you're in this group, you're in that group. I'm above you, you're below me. You're this title, so why would we not accidentally make mistakes by doing moves or things that are completely aligned with our old bad
Well,
behavior?
and why is it also
And why are we
perceived as
not talking
bad to
about it?
point that out,
Out,
right?
exactly.
And not be
Right, to be
able, like,
wrong
isn't
is a crime.
atonement
It's a
just
horrible,
simply
you
saying
messed
you're
up.
sorry?
Right.
Isn't that
Oh,
atonement?
exactly.
Is simply
Yes.
saying you're sorry and
Mhm.
then not repeating those same patterns and behaviors,
Mhm.
right?
Oh
And
God, the
that's it. And
definition
for
of
some reason
insanity.
in this community, and I'm being general on purpose because I don't want to start whatever doing all these things that I don't even understand about social media right now.
Yeah,
Seeing
and
identity
also
and
but
all these
that's the
weird
whole point
words
is
that,
it's
right,
absolutely unnecessary. People can
right.
have disagreements. They can disagree. They can feel
No,
that certain
absolutely.
that's fine.
But
That
I
doesn't
do
mean
want
that
us
we're
all to
not
get
all
along
supporting.
better. I really do. And
We
that's what is
are, but this is
upsetting and
part
it
of it.
makes it harder
This
to
is part of it
navigate.
for us to be
Right.
able to talk about it and say, "Hey, this it's okay to disagree with people. It's okay. We are not saying we hate the aftermath. We support
No,
it.
no,
Do it
right.
all."
I don't think
Absolutely.
that's
The aftermath is
It's
absolutely
but even
helping
and
me.
not just the aftermath. I'm talking about individual relationships in the SBTV
right,
community. I'm just saying we are so used to our whole Sea Org lives, literally Sea Org lives, let alone
right,
Scientology lives. We are so used to no, knock it off, disconnect. It's black and white. It's not that way. It's
right.
literally not.
Well, we
And
need
the
to, it's like,
behavior of it is so Sea Org and
yeah,
Scientology based that
it's a tough
we
place to
need
navigate.
but
It
also, how
is.
would we ever know this, Dylan, if nobody acted the way they're acting? Like this is like we only learn more about how we want to lose the bad habits we have by experiencing other people or seeing like people going, "Hey, I have an issue with that," or this. Like we're
Yeah,
supposed to be okay with
I don't
opening
think
up
there's
and
anything
having
wrong with that. I think it's the atonement and the lack of like, I'm going to use words that we never used in this here, like reciprocity, empathy, compassion. Like
Mhm.
these
What
weren't
are those
subjects,
words?
right, that we were ever taught or in conceptually even like brought up into our like realm. And that's what it in my opinion seems to be lacking. Everybody has the right to say their opinion. Hell yes. But also, if we have the right to say our opinion, then the other person also has the right to say your opinion. And if you want them to hear you, you kind of have to hear them. And if we can't come to a compromise, well, this is where the impasse becomes, is like,
The bad habit. This is
well,
where
and
we
the
were taught
we
to
need
not.
to find that compromise above all. We
Instead
really
of it
do.
being like, well, then it doesn't work.
Well, that's
Disconnect.
final. And I
It's
hate you. And now
disconnection.
you're a
It's
POS
literally,
and you're
yep.
right.
You're an
And
ethics
that's,
particle. You're negative. You're causing this. Your
and it's
fault.
triggering. We should know that we're
And we're both,
triggering
everybody's
other people.
triggering everybody. Right.
Right.
Everybody's
Yeah.
triggering, and it's
And
bad.
this is where
It's a bad habit. It's a bad
and I
thing
know
that
it's
we
hard
were
to
taught.
not vomit all over everybody, our vitriol or whatever that we grew up
Right.
with, right? But at the same time, once we realize that, like, you know, when you see somebody have something happen to them and they're like, oh my God, that's disgusting. That's when we stop doing that. Like, that's the part for me, is
That's
like,
what
and
I mean.
again,
People need to
preface with,
experience
this
it.
is my chosen family. Cece,
Mhm.
I love
Right.
you. You're an amazing person. Laura, you're an amazing person. Liz, you're an amazing person.
Mm.
And those are people I'm going to talk about, because those are people that are right here that I know that are exes and have lived this life.
Mhm.
I love all the people that support. But it breaks my heart about, like, this whole, and the fact that we're just going to let it sit, and that it's just going to sit, and that it's
Well,
like
I don't think it's sitting. I
putting
think
a
that
Band-Aid
for
over a
some
wound,
people it
right?
is. Some people are sitting, but there are a lot of people that are also getting strength and learning, and also
Right.
not making it about them and their lives of whatever is going on. Like, that's
Right.
it. No, move
Well, and
forward.
what
There's
is that, like,
it's literally not about anybody's individual life.
when it's like centering yourself, like,
Right.
you know, when somebody comes to you and originates something, the last thing anybody wants, because it's so hard to do that, is for somebody else to center themselves and be like, well, actually, I da, 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 da. And, you know, this is where we have to give ourselves grace. It's a hard place to navigate, but if we're all acting like we're willing to do that, we have to show it in our actions. Otherwise, we haven't atoned, and we aren't changing by showing that we have different actions and we are behaving differently. And that's the hardest part for me, is that I really want to see that, and I want to see a place where that can happen. And right now it seems like there's a camp. If so and so goes to so and so's camp, he's an enemy, you know, it's like, and there's not a neutral ground, and that's what kind of,
Yeah, and there needs to be, because
But
it
we
feels
grew up
like
without
it
neutral.
does. Right.
And I also do feel, though, that there are like, I think that in our behavior of how we grew up and everything, we only think, oh, we only have these certain options. And if we don't do those options, we're kind of being out tech, or not the right way, or not standard. Like it's not okay. Oh, you're not supporting us. You're not agreeing with us. No. Everybody has their own life, their own healing, their own way, their own thing. Like,
We're all a
it
different
should never be a
version of-
negative thing if somebody wants to do something a different way.
Well, nobody's big enough. I'm not in any position to judge any other human. Nobody is. Nobody's
Neither.
above. If
Right.
even in the traditional,
And I don't want
religious
to.
sense,
I don't want to.
right? Well, even
Yeah.
if we all believe that we were made by a higher power, or a, you know, supreme being, or God, or whatever, we were all created equally, right? So we're in no position to judge each other. If we were all created equally, whether we were made perfect or this or that, nobody's in a position to judge each other, period. So,
You know, here's the worst thing.
Literally.
My family on my mom's side, Catholic as hell. All I can think of when you're saying that is, oh God, what is that? Oh, there's a Bible quote. I can't remember it, but there's an absolute Bible quote that makes me think of.
I grew up in a cult. I don't know. No,
I
it
cannot
makes
help
me
you,
think of In
Liz.
Living Color, of the girl who's like, you didn't hear it from me, but you know, like they're trying to be a good Christian, and then they're just that's what it made me think of. But
God, I can't
Okay,
remember
well,
the
yeah.
name of it. It's on the
And
tip
my
of my
thing on
tongue.
it is that we need to be transparent. Like we said earlier, it's
good one, Candy.
it's good to be more
Yes,
We need to
Judge
get
not yet,
used
you
to be able to. We need to get used to be able to talking. What did you say?
Right. To
Oh.
find, yeah, to have
Candy's
debate.
life just said the Bible quote.
Yeah. Yeah, like so we need to be it needs to be normal to love somebody still or care for somebody if they have a complete disagreement with you,
Right. Right. Well,
right?
like I
That's
prefaced
what's
is
missing.
e-
Like
I look at everyone as my chosen family. Like I
literally
don't give a
for
shit because
their
you know
own ways.
why? If and
Yeah.
I'll do a whatever moment. If I had family, I probably wouldn't give a shit as much, right? On a personal level, is I would be more healed. I'd have a father and an uncle and cousins, and I probably have right now like 7 people in Scientology in my family, between cousins and step sisters and fathers and uncles and um. So families, the only family I have are my 2 boys and my chosen family. And
Yeah.
the people I chose are the people
Mm,
that I understand know what I went through. So even if they can't be there for me, I can do my number one trauma response and be there for them. And
I get
that's
that.
you know what I mean? Like it's and it's I think it's similar to all things like alcoholics and if they choose a 12-step program or like a drug rehabilitation program, not Narcanon, um, it becomes a um a family in a way because you have this lived experience that other people that it's like those are what we need to heal is like somebody that you understand. You can just look at them and say you get it and I get it.
Yeah, because
You know,
for me, it's the same way. Like, I don't have anyone on my mom's side of the family. I don't have anyone on my dad's side of the family. So
right?
all I have is literally my my family, my direct family that's here with me, and my chosen family,
You're not
and
blocked,
that's it.
Stefan. Right,
With
right. No, exactly. I'm sorry. I'm just answering some questions because I feel like, but yeah, exactly. You have your chosen family, and that's what's important. And you have an amazing chosen family, from what I understand. And
Yeah,
that is an awesome. To surround yourself with that kind of support structure shows. That shows a caring like that should be acknowledged. So awesome. That's yeah. I keep screwing that up, so I envy you.
no, I'm not perfect all the time.
No, I'm just
Things
saying, yeah,
happen.
it's amazing to
but
know.
that somebody, I think I just put that up. Some, you're not perfect, blah blah blah. That's the thing to have another human being that understands that you're not going to ever be perfect and you're going to make mistakes and it's going to
Right.
be fun. Let's heal from them or argue or whatever, and then we continue.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas before, it'd be like, up, if you're not going to agree with me that the butter doesn't go in the fridge, then we need to get a divorce.
Right. Well, and it comes to compromise. I mean, like, and honestly, comparing the SPTV community to Scientology is kind of silly. We carry a lot of these traumas, and if we don't deal with these traumas, we normalize them, and then we define them as something different. As soon as they suit us in a way that doesn't hurt us, we'll just define them as another thing and use it and go on because it's what we know. Until
Yeah.
we really decide to heal and until we really decide to accept other people where they are at in their healing journey, we're going to have this fracturedness, and we can blame it on OSA. We can blame it on all this bullshit. But honestly, what OSA is doing right now is they're looking for little inflammatory comments and they're going to try to boost them up, and that's it. And there's probably like 4 people that are doing it. And I'm not trying to make any less of OSA, but it's not this big monster that we're trying to make. I don't live in that weird fear bubble anymore.
No,
Neither
I
do
don't
I.
think it's
Nope.
productive. I don't think it's anything,
It's also a spell that we have broken. We're not. It's
well,
a.
it's also a
It's
crutch to hide from things that maybe we've done.
yeah.
yeah,
And
Nope.
I can
like
say it.
Exactly.
right,
Yes.
if we're going to be accountable, then be accountable, mf'er. And guess what, that fear you feel right now, as soon as you're accountable, we're all going to say we love and support you. But until you do that, you got to choose you first, and then we'll choose you. For everybody, that's in a general sense. And other
Yeah,
people that are
exactly.
having a hard time, we love you. Please choose yourself.
Yes,
Please,
it's
please.
true. Stop thinking
Um,
about other people. Start thinking about what's good for you, what
right.
benefits you, what is in your best interest, what will make you have a long-term, like, though a lot of people haven't even thought that far in reality of like, oh, what will make me have a long-term, they don't know what will make them have a long-term life. They're just trying to get out of an alcohol addiction or out of
Right, right.
something, you know
And
what I
that's
mean? So
okay. You know,
yeah.
if they're trying and they've stopped their behaviors, their destructive behaviors towards other people, and they're trying to deal with their trauma, I'm 1000% behind you. I will
Yeah.
drive thousands of miles for you.
Yeah.
But as long as your behavior is still destructive and you're hurting yourself first and foremost, yeah, of course everybody else is going to get hurt. You're dangerous.
Yeah.
Until you start loving and accepting, even you're accepting yourself in a shitty position. I'm in a crappy position. I'm taking things from people. I'm using it to hurt my body. I'm doing these things and I'm going to justify it and project on everybody I can until you decide to say, hey, I'm fucked up and this is a cry for help. As soon as you
Yeah.
say that, there's 100 people at your doorstep to help you.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that because I'm terrible at asking for help. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I
And
skirt around it and I get embarrassed.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Same.
And it's a natural reaction. It's hard to be vulnerable in those times, right? And
Mhm.
that's where the trust thing is. That's where the therapist, and that's where we create these relationships so we can nurture this trust that we do not inherently have. So
Yes, sir. My therapist and I will be together for quite a long time.
right, no, absolutely. If you find somebody you can relate to, hold on to that and build that relationship and use that as a catalyst to create your future. Absolutely.
Yes, I totally agree. Aw. Not aw, but I totally agree, and that made me feel so good, and I'm sure that making a lot of people feel really good in the chat and understanding, and whoever's listening, we love you, and I wanna leave it on that note because that was really good. It's
That was
just it
Welcome.
solid.
doesn't matter. We need to talk about it. Reach out, like, help yourself. That's the best thing. Let's like be good to yourself and don't be so hard on yourself. There's a lot of people here that understand everybody's situation when, especially in the Scientology X community of the Sea Org and Scientology or anything having to do with it. We get it. We understand. Literally anybody can find themselves in that situation. So it's about that, like, when you're
Right.
ready, we're here, we're always here, we understand it, it's completely valid. But yeah,
100%.
I feel like the SBTV community is doing good, and even though just like that, we go through a lot of stuff and there's these ups and downs, but in the end, we're all helping one another in some way, and we all we all are getting stronger and better and learning to trust better and getting closer to people. You know what I mean? So yeah, I
Totally.
don't think
Hey,
right now it's that bad, but
Laura, can I
yeah,
ask Liz one question before we go?
yes, of course.
Yeah.
How old are your kids school age?
Kids are in 19 and 21, but
Do you
20,
remember the
although
movie
21.
Inside Out? Do you remember, Laura?
What's that?
The movie Inside Out?
No.
No.
It's a movie about feelings, and it's a movie about adolescent feelings where they're like they have anger and sadness and happiness and as a child you want to be happy all the time, right? No, you haven't. Oh, you should
I
see
have
it.
no idea.
I'm right. I
It's
wrote it down for
it's
me
a
to watch.
great movie, but the whole idea is it's the movie's premise is about this one memory, and it's about like this movie or this memory of like this sad event that they're trying to avoid no matter what, and they want her just to have this happy time, right, of being this little kid and just having these happy memories, and this little sad memories keep kind of coming in, and right now the little kid only feels like either happy or angry or insecure or sad. And the whole movie's about like hiding, like, no, we don't want this sad part to be sadness. Why are you keep interjecting in this happy memory? And the end of the movie it's inevitable that you have to have the sad part, and they finish the whole memory. And it's basically an event where she was playing hockey and she lost this game and she was super sad, and her parents came over, and that's where the memory ended for the whole movie. But when they let it play out, the parents consoled her and showed her love, and they were sad. Yeah, they were all sad together. And then they developed this memory, and they found this bond through this multitude of experiences, like happiness to sadness and they were able to grow from it. And so these are different, these are where we didn't get this as children. We didn't get the developmental stages.
Right.
So we weren't nurtured in those moments, and we weren't allowed to feel those moments. And like being a parent, you see a lot of that, and it's hard to reconcile. So it's just what you said made me think of that, of like, it's okay to feel, and it's okay to go through these emotions. And if we let that happen and come out the other side, we can be stronger from it. All of us, and I don't even like SPTV. I think it's a great concept. But
just anybody who's left Scientology or the Sea Org, or has been part of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be part of SPTV if you don't want to.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think it's that whole, and that we shouldn't put even a stigma on that. Like we should allow that to be what it is. And even through these sad moments, I think we can, find a healing kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Inside Out, it's a good movie. Yeah. Even though it is
I'm going to watch it.
I'm going to watch it too.
Yeah. It's good.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. This was so fun. What is this? Well, my love bomb, Lara, is that I really love your music. Good. You love bomb me, baby. When it comes to the music, you go ahead and love bomb me. And come see a live show.
Yeah, love bomb both these guys. Go to their channels, do their little clicky thing and likey and subscribers.
And then go to the clicky and the clicky. Don't forget to smash the
do
like
your social
and hit
media
subscribe.
duty and duty. And I said
Duty. You said
so
duty.
clip the duty.
Duty, do your duty, and don't duty on the duty. On your duty. Okay, Candy's Life said, Lara, Liz, and Dylan, thank you for being a beautiful evening of learning and loving tonight. Yes. That's a rip off my learning and loving song. But yes, thank you, Candy Life, for always being in the chat and so supportive. And thank you all for being here. CC, Witness, Amanda. Love the insight from Jesus Words Meditation. Thank you for your great question, unsupervised. Peggy P, love you all. Yes.
I just took a great one yesterday. Good sunset.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys all. Thank you so much. We'll be back again.
Thanks, Liz.
Subscribe to Liz.
Lara.
Subscribe to Dylan. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Liz. I love you. And thank you to Jackson earlier and Louie.
Yeah, thanks,
we love
Jackson.
you all. Come back soon. Oops, I almost went away without my traditional. Bye-bye.